anniversary that brings back like the first zombie, the elderly
Yeah,
man. He's
that
like
was
clearly older and clearly like fatter.
I had that. I hated it.
Oh no, I it's bad, but I love how incompetently bad it is.
Yeah, because they're. I think they did that in order to try and make it a cash cow.
Well, yeah, because Night of the Living Dead is public domain, so you can
Yeah.
technically add whatever to it and
make
sell
it
it as
your
your
own.
own. So yeah,
Huh.
like we could do like a riff track on Night of the Living Dead for ourselves here and sell it
Yeah.
as something.
All right.
We should totally do that one day. But until then, everybody, enjoy this intro. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Three Geeks podcast. What is so wonderful is that before we even went live, we already had 4 likes on YouTube. So you guys,
and it may or may not have been us. So
No, Jason's mom is on it. She's got like all the dummy accounts. She's there, click clacking, making it happen. We appreciate you.
Oh, by the way, happy birthday,
Mom!
Mom!
My mom could do it. Happy birthday, Mike's mom!
Yay!
Oh, for real. Happy birthday. Such a lovely woman. She is the very best.
Indeed.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody that is watching, listening, commenting, whatever you do, send us in, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share this on social media. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, leave a little review down below, and we appreciate it. In the meantime,
Not only do we appreciate it, we like desperately need it.
Actually, now our reviews are pretty good. We actually are in the top 5% of all podcasts.
Fuck
So, yeah.
Jason's mom, click clacking.
How many podcasts are in the top 5% of podcasts?
I don't know. It's based on iTunes reviews, and we have like 45.
Because that just kind of begs the question. That's all.
In the demographic of podcasts.
Yes.
Joining us around 12:30 will be Tim Biesiegel, so I will save Star Wars talk for later in the show. And then for the 1 o'clock hour, we have Justin and I, 2 of our favorite guests from last year, April Rose Gabriella and Kulick. So join us for that. So much to talk to. So much happened because we took last week off for the Super Bowl. And I'm sorry the Bengals didn't win, but it was close. The Bengals showed that they were a force to be reckoned with. Not that I care, but I know a lot of you out there do care.
It was a decent game. I was happy for a decent game and a decent halftime show. Like it was all right. There were some good commercials in there, and like what more can you ask for from the Super Bowl?
I was just waiting for the halftime show to be over, so I didn't have to watch it anymore.
Oh yeah, dude, I understand how you would feel that way. On the darker side of things, we all loved it though.
That's fair, man. My dad was so excited to watch the Bengals. And you know what's funny is right as the Super Bowl started, somebody I haven't seen in a very long time knocked on my parents' door. It was Selwyn. He walked in right as the halftime show was starting.
All right.
Which was so fitting.
And you guys kicked him out right after that.
Yeah.
No, I was like, guys, I'm leaving. I'm done with this sports thing. But anyway,
ball makes no sense to me. When are they going to hit a home run?
Yeah.
We live in a society where, you turn on the news, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. Like, you get so much just feedback, but there is still one consistency in the world that you can count on to be exactly what you expect it to be, and that was Jackass Forever. I saw this movie 3 times so far in the theater, and I have laughed my ass off every single time. These guys, they really show up. Jackass 4 is probably some of the more riskier stuff that they've done so far. And if you're going and you can loosen up a little bit and have some fun in the theater and kick back and maybe laugh and talk a little bit with the rest of the people in the theater, this is a fun experience if you're into this sort of thing. If male nudity, you say there's not enough male nudity in cinema, right here there is a lot
is
of
trying
male nudity.
they're upping the ratio for sure.
Steve-O may make most men feel bad because the dude's kind of hung, but don't feel bad. Just be happy that you get to experience this awesome.
I mean,
comedy.
when a majority of your antics are crotch and or anal centered, expect some nudity. So.
and all of your characters are men.
I gotta say,
there's no females in Jackass.
there is a certain. I mean, I'm glad people are gravitating to it now because they're older, so there's a certain curiosity of like, is this what's gonna like permanently fuck them up for the next 30 years? Like,
I mean, Johnny Knoxville stopped after he broke his dick, know, on a motorbike or something. Like that was, and it was years before he did another thing. So I mean, like, yeah, it's you got to watch for that factor. It's like watching Brett Favre at the end of his career. Like, is this the hit that
I took my girlfriend to see it yesterday for the third time, and she had never seen it. She's never seen Jackass.
Oh wow!
And she had a lot of fun. But as we were leaving, she's like, "You said these guys all have kids." I'm like, a lot of them somehow have been able to reproduce.
How do they still have viable sperm that works?
They froze it.
They
froze it in 1994.
Yeah,
I just like the whiplash from the God's Not Dead series to this.
Right.
I told her the next movie we see can be God's Not Dead 5 to kind of walk her into this with me.
Of course they'll make it.
Now. We need to multiverse that.
The God's Not Dead, starring Jackass.
So Kevin Sorbo plays God.
Everybody out there that is down, feeling bad, go watch Jackass. I can prescribe it to you. It's gonna make you laugh.
It's just gonna make you feel down.
It's funny. These guys are funny. Wee Man, Preston, they're all back. And even Bam is in a sequence of this show. Granted, they cut out him talking, but you could see his face for like 3 seconds. So if you weren't going to see it because Bam wasn't in it, Bam's in it. So
let's put it this way: they're sacrificing their quality of life for your enjoyment. So
yes, it's ironic because the first two Jackass movies, they were all blitzed, right? Like drugs and drinking. Because now on Jackass 3 and 4, they weren't allowed to be on drugs. It's why Bam wasn't in it.
Yep. Just goes to show you they are just that crazy. It's not the drugs.
It's like the compulsion clearly had nothing to do with the drugs.
When I give my rating for Jackass 4, keep in mind I'm rating the level of comedy, not the level of cinema. So don't judge me. Jackass Forever is a 5 out of 5. I laughed.
I had a really bad time adjusting to the fact that they didn't use a dolly shot for when he pogo sticks on someone's nuts. Yeah.
Oh, so you saw it too, Mike?
I've seen clips of it. I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, that was hard. I haven't been able to watch that at all 3 times. I always turn away. But no, as far as comedy goes, it's a 5 out of 5. You will laugh through the entire movie from start to finish, guaranteed. Unless you're uptight, then you won't. But enjoy the movie.
Good God. Yeah. All right. I'm happy they're still doing things that they love. Like that's.
I mean, it's right up there with like the old freak shows of the old time. Like come see the Geek or come see the Strongest Man Alive. That type. It's right up there. It's just a little bit more accessible because this is stuff you can do at home, which you shouldn't.
You should not.
You should not do it.
I think they make it very clear that you are not to attempt anything you've seen.
It's like a 5-minute bumper before it starts, isn't it?
Right.
I did not mention they added a female cast member to the Jackass trope, Rachel Wolfson, and she is awesome in this.
It'd be kind of cool if they got like. Here's what I'm curious about. It'd be kind of cool if they actually got like. Do they ever get like legit stunt people, like people in the industry?
No, usually comedians.
It's just comedians. Okay.
Because they got a whole. I mean, it's a lot of younger kids in this movie, but the older guys still do the work too.
Okay, I was just wondering what it'd be like to get like say Zoe Bell or someone like that in there. Like,
Get Leonardo DiCaprio in the next Jackass movie. Make it happen, Knoxville. This movie's made like $50 million. You guys can do it.
No. You got that wrong. You don't get Leo DiCaprio. You get his stunt man,
His
Brad
stunt guy.
Pitt.
Oh,
Yes.
Get Brad Pitt.
I think they could probably get Brad Pitt. I bet he'd do it.
You can do the Ghostbusters remix thing and
Once
just
upon a
have
Hollywood joke, just whoosh. Okay.
I was there, Mike. I got it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm looking for the name of the guy who played Laura Palmer's dad.
Yeah, Ray Wise.
He wanted to be in Jackass Forever, but he got turned down.
No way.
I'm pretty sure it's Ray Wise. Hold on, let me double check my fact.
It would have to be okay. His only stunt would be, can he make his skull pop out of his face?
Yeah, really.
Like, he's got that degree of intensity to him.
I want David Lynch to direct the next Jackass movie.
Oh, well, we all want David Lynch to do more Lynch stuff.
Yeah. I'm not sure the next Jackass movie, but something.
Could you imagine though? Like, he'd actually go crazy with some of the stunts. He'd be like, "Okay, we're gonna involve now a number 2 pencil. Go."
A giant squid.
Somebody would actually die on the set of a David Lynch directed Jackass movie.
Actually, I kind of want to see that one now. Yeah. David Lynch, Jackass Faces of Death.
Laura Dern or Isabella Rossellini gets shot out of a cannon.
That's funny. That is funny. I'm looking for the fact check. But while I look for that, let's talk Peacemaker. I know I got yelled at on Friday by Dan because I haven't finished the series yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So in turn, you made him watch.
Yeah.
Texas
Here, watch Texas Chainsaw instead, Dan. You'll like it, Dan.
I didn't say you'd like it. I said watch it if you can. That's all I said. If you can.
It sounds like it's supposed to be.
It sounds like challenge accepted.
Yeah. No. I didn't see it as like watch it if you can. I was like watch it. It's good. Is what I got.
If I can, of course I can watch it, bitch. I'll watch the shit out of this.
I had the wrong actor. It was Bruce Dern.
Oh, Bruce Dern.
Yeah, okay.
Same challenge because Bruce Dern. Guys.
Yeah.
Bruce Dern wanted to be in Jackass Forever.
Ray Wise.
Either one works. Bruce Dern is crazy enough to make it work. So
really turns his hair white.
Peacemaker.
Yes.
Peacemaker is the shit.
Peacemaker is great.
I fucking love this whole series.
Yeah.
Are they already set for season 2?
I believe they are.
Okay, but I at the end of it though, I was like, are they even making a season 2? I really dug how it's like, okay, if they don't do anything else, this is just its own thing and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. This is like old timey James Gunn coming out. I think, and that's great. Because he used to do old Troma stuff, like Tromeo and Juliet.
That was where he got his. He's from the Troma School of Film.
Yeah, and this fits right in with that half the time.
Well, James Gunn recently said he's finishing Guardians 3, and then he's going to shift his focus more to television, which I know he's working on like 2 more of these DC spinoff series things.
He's going to fulfill the Disney obligation, and then he's going to get to the stuff he likes.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, like you get that
Guardians, but.
And DC needs him.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Some bad blood a couple years back, and he's like,
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's true. Like the fucking DC needs this. Like this is better than this show to me is better than like a lot of the Star Wars that's come out recently. A lot of the fucking Disney Marvel shows, this show is much better. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like this doesn't take itself like it's completely serious, like it's high entertainment. You will watch this, and
but it also brings like John Cena emoted in this, and it was believable. It's like, and of course, he's like crying about his dead eagle or something like that. But like, it's.
I mean, cry about that.
No, when I thought Eagly died, I was legitimately sad. But
Eagly's amazing, just like jumping into people's faces and stuff. It's so good.
Carrying your good helmet off.
Yeah. I thought the. Oh, go. Go.
I loved it. I loved like that. They're using characters that you've seen like be characters from the movies.
Yeah.
I liked the addition of Adebayo. She was a great character. And, I mean, it's just like a bunch of good actors, and they've got good material. And holy shit, like look what happened.
It seems DC's willing to take risks now.
They are now.
Enough to kind of be like, we don't need to be just like Marvel with their brand synergy and like it's all one story. It's like it's all one story, but let's have fun. Let's take some of these other side stories off to weird territory, which Peacemaker feels like.
That's something we've been preaching. Sorry, that's something we've been preaching on the show for a long time. Is for DC to find its own niche, and I feel like they are. I mean, with the Batman coming out and Joker, they're doing one-offs, and now they're doing something with James Gunn and allowing themselves to get a little bit more crazy and experimental than maybe Marvel would. I'm not going to compare one to the other because I don't want to get into that debate, but I'm glad that we're getting something different from a different studio. We don't need it all to be the same because that's just ridiculous. Dan, sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, I thought like the whole ensemble was great, but I think the standout for me is Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick was the shit.
That dude's intense, man. He's like completely wrong, and yet like he shows up as spoilers. He shows up after he's dead, just the same way. It's like, man, that's dark.
I'm wondering if we're gonna get like hairy scenes from Dexter with Robert Patrick. But no, it was good. Like, Robert Patrick was excellent. Like, he plays the White Dragon, the fucking white supremacist asshole who just happens to be a genius in making suits and stuff like that. But like he goes to jail and they're throwing out the Hitler salutes and everything like that, and like. They didn't pull any punches. Like you don't like this guy, and like they show you why you shouldn't like him, and it's really really good. I love Peacemaker. I was so surprised. I thought it was going to be shitty. I didn't realize James Gunn was actually like doing it. It was his baby, but I was like, this is not going to go well, and I was totally wrong. I was 100% wrong because like. In Suicide Squad, you meet the Peacemaker character, and you're like, okay, this is good. This works for this movie, and then he dies, and you're like, okay, like that was fine. John Cena didn't he didn't get to overstep. Like you don't. There's not too much John Cena as this character, and apparently there can't be because he's fucking awesome. Like I want to see more Peacemaker.
Yeah, I do like DC leaning adult too in their stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fucking
That depends who's doing adult for DC because they made some adult animation ones that are completely shit. So
well, and also that's got subsections too because it's like it's an adult animated movie. Most likely not going to be a good fit, but like some of the adult like I like the Harley Quinn series. That stuff is fun, but. Yeah,
I remember the Suicide Squad movie that we watched for
Hell to Pay.
Animaniacs, with the same strip club and they say fuck like 3 times so they can like look it's a naughty movie now.
That's an example of try hard adulting.
Try hard adulting. That sounds terrible.
That sounds hard. Like
put your baby through a window or something like try hard adulting.
Like DC has kind of found the like balance, and it's like you expect over the top violence and shenanigans and gore in something like Peacemaker, where your lead isn't supposed to be a likable, relatable. He's likable and relatable for different reasons, but he's not an altruistic hero. Like. Right. That you expect that there. You don't expect it in, say, like a Superman animated movie where he's like, "I'm gonna get blitzed and say fuck."
and don't forget the interpretive dance as well.
Oh yeah, the interpretive dance.
That is the greatest title sequence I've seen in a long time.
I could not watch that thing more than once. I watched it
when he's holding the judo master up and the eagle's moving around. It's so good.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Tim.
I want to say Tim's here.
Hey.
Yeah.
Howdy.
We're going to talk Book of Boba Fett either before the interview or after the interview, so I decided to bring in a Star Wars expert or self-proclaimed expert.
I was going to say, where's the expert? Because it's not here yet.
Join our Book of Boba Fett chat, but
I thought you were about to say join our book club. I'm like, what?
We have a book club?
we tried.
We meet twice a month. It's very secretive.
Oh, apparently.
This month we're reading Angela's Ashes. Really great.
Very depressing.
Ooh.
I bought the Razor Crest Lego. It's awesome.
Ooh.
It comes with some guy in carbonite. It's fucking awesome.
And the sweet milk coming.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we made a time lapse video, Justin and I, of building the Rancor pit at Jabba's palace, and Jason's still yet to air the footage, but it is there. So we're gonna do this one next, and hopefully it's a little longer. The video turns out to be like 45 seconds. It took us like 4 hours to build.
That was a really fast time lapse video.
But I just got that. I'm super excited.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hey, Kathleen.
You do
I
know
wouldn't
that guy.
be so quick to throw out your. It's like, now the FBI is coming to talk to you.
Yeah.
There could be worse things.
What'd you guys?
I
What'd you guys rate it out of 5?
This 4 out of 5. I mean, it's not for everybody, but it's so good. Like, again, it's more adult. If you don't like, like the high end violence and a lot of cussing and. It's like saying for the Jackass crowd. Like, if you're not going to be into that, then, like, you're probably not going to like this. But if you are looking for a good, solid fucking show, check out fucking Peacemaker. It is so awesome. I laughed. I cried. It takes you everywhere on the whole range, and they do it well. There's like road tripping. There's all kinds of just good stuff in this show.
Mike?
Well, I at this point I'd say it's like a solid 3.5 out of 4. I just started watching it at the beginning of last week, just because I knew the finale was coming up, and I'm with certain shows I'm in this mentality of like, okay, I'll wait until it's all out and then try to get it all. And I've been enjoying it thus far, so which is why I felt adding in to like the conversation here. But yeah, 3.5 or 4 out of 5 for me. It's solid.
Nice. Dan?
This was made for me, so it's a 5 out of 5 because I as Max was saying, I do like gratuitous gore and violence, and it's great. I feel like I'm getting like overlogged in good stuff right now because I got Peacemaker, and I think today's episodes were the end of Legend of Vox Machina, which I think is great.
Oh,
that is amazing.
Yes, I'm loving that show too.
As someone who's like listened to the whole Critical Role podcast of that, like the Briarwood fight when just pretty close to the way it did in their campaign, and it's just like, like yeah.
I was really hoping. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Oh, go ahead.
No, mine's not on topic.
Oh, I was going to say, so they're both going to be canceled and never do anything else again.
Yep,
because it's something that I completely love. So
that's it. But at least we had these, like
I would be cool with that, honestly. But I do want more.
Well, Dan, you proclaimed your love for it after they renewed it, so I think you're good.
Oh, good. Okay, that's cool.
No.
Oh, actually, this just in. After
they were waiting
to the 3 Geeks podcast, Peacemaker was canceled.
It's
they were
like
waiting. They're just waiting on Dan's report. They're like, "Oh, he liked it. Shut it down."
I watched the first 2 episodes of Swamp Thing. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this is great," and canceled.
There was one news story that really made me excited this week, and that was that we're finally getting Star Trek 4 with the new cast, and I'm glad that we're not breaking this cast up. I like this cast. I want more movies with this cast, and I really wish Scott was here so we could fight about it, but I love all 3
more
of
JJ
the new
Trek
Trek films, and I can't wait for the 4th one.
I kind of wonder how they're going to address the Yelchin situation.
Yeah, how they're going to replace him.
Yeah, if they're going to replace him, or they're just going to be like,
just replace him.
transfer.
He's
sadly,
he's a dude. They could just get another actor and have him play that guy. Like, I mean,
or somebody else.
Yeah, we're sad.
I don't want CGI Anton Yelchin face. That's
Oh yeah,
No.
that's true.
If that's an option, no, please don't do that. But I mean, like,
Meryl Streep could play him.
oh my god,
She can do anything.
Yeah, it's fine. Or
yeah, but I don't understand why people are like, okay, like this actor is now this character,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
forevermore, no one else can play this character. Like,
I
they're
find it
great
good just
actors.
because when you're shooting a movie, and especially if you're shooting like a series of movies, with the same cast and the same production crew that's established and so forth, like there is a certain camaraderie that I'm sure develops between cast and crew of a regular series like that. So it might not be necessarily, from a storytelling standpoint, might not be that big an issue to just be like, get someone new. But in terms of like, say, a sense of respect for their coworker, their colleague, their friend, like, do we recast it? Do we find some way to work around it? Do we just omit the character altogether out of respect? Like, that's what Christopher Nolan did. He was like, I wanted to do perhaps another movie with Joker, but I loved working with Heath so much that I couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. So that's why we got Dark Knight Rises instead of something else with the Joker. Like, and yeah, sure. It doesn't work for the fans, but we don't know those people.
Oh, Max, are you talking the whole series? Because I agree.
No. I love the Dark Knight, and I love Heath Ledger's Joker. But it's like he's dead. He's fucking dead. This isn't like insulting you. Like, okay, I can hire this other guy for cheaper, and we're just gonna run with it. Like, no, he's dead. Like, there's nothing to be done about that. That doesn't mean your story has to suffer.
Well, it's their story, and if that's the one they want to tell,
Right.
then that's the one they want to tell. And
I tend to agree with Mike. I think it's more difficult when it's an established character and it's somebody that the fans have grown to see in that and have a respect for in that character. Like, I think that's why it's so hard to when we talked about CGI characters, when we talk about the Luke Skywalker situation in the Book of Boba Fett and the end of Mandalorian season 2. It's too hard, even though I personally would love to see like somebody like Sebastian Stan play that, or even the body double that they used, Graham. Oh goodness, his last name escapes me right now, but he looks very much like Mark Hamill. So I would rather use a lookalike, somebody that looks similar in that sentence, or in that position rather. But I also understand where the hesitancy is to bring somebody in and recast that character, because if it's somebody that they're tied to. Now, however, and I'm going to say this and probably piss off a lot of Star Trek people, Yelchin's character, in my opinion, in Star Trek is a second-tier character.
yeah, he is.
So it's not as critical that he's not recast. If it were Spock, if it were Kirk, it would be more difficult if they were recast, especially at this point in the game. So,
but I'm just saying, J.J. Abrams strikes me as that sentimental type of person that would be like, maybe we should not have Chekhov in there at all. Like, he just strikes me as that type of person. And from what I've gathered from that cast, essentially, is like that they're pretty close knit. So I can understand it being a difficult choice for them if they decide to proceed with it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're right. He's not an essential primary lead. You can recast him, and that's probably what they might do, because money's good too.
You could just add one of the crazy aliens from the first season of OG Star Trek. Like, I mean, because you did have a couple of them wandering around the bridge. So
get the boss thing.
we could recast him with Dom Toretto and have him come in and talk about family and how this affects the family.
Put that out there. Don't mess up my franchise.
There's your
Dom Toretto
crossover.
in Star Wars. He can fight Jar Jar. They can do a whole buddy cop movie.
I did hear.
I thought we agreed. He's doomed.
No, I did hear a fun little fan theory where Dom Toretto is one of the family members from Encanto, and his magical power is to do car tricks. And that's why the tricks get more and more crazy as he goes.
Nice.
Jesse, you are one of my favorite coworkers, but see, I watched the Heroes Reborn series, and you can go back and listen to my review of that. And that just totally made Heroes like just blip from my mind, because I was a fan for the first 4 seasons. But I see Quinto as Spock now. Like, to me, he is Spock. Like, unfortunately, Leonard Nimoy's passed, and now we have this guy who did a great job as Spock that we can look at and be like, that's Spock.
That's the other thing that gets me. And again, no offense to Antoine Yelchin, but like this is a recasting of the Star Trek characters. Like, how is it that we're so stuck on it?
Yeah, I know. It's like, they cast it already, so
You're already the other guy.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't matter that they get another
technically,
guy.
we have three Spocks because there's a Discovery Spock. So
Yeah.
Right. He's the other guy. No.
Bring
Right.
back Walter Koenig. He can play Chekhov in the
Oh
bridge,
my
and just
God.
don't even reference it. Just let him
Just-
be there.
Well, they
He's
can
90
just
years old.
they'll just
He
de-age
spent
him.
too long in the the transporter for once, and he just came back old.
yeah, that's
Like, I don't know.
Transporter accident.
Haven't
Put
they
him in
done that
just
before
put him in a
Star Trek?
Snapchat filter the whole time, and have baby face. He'll be fine.
Like, what we got back did live long.
Oh man.
Or do they off-screen kill his character? That's possible.
I think either transfer or kill him, and then that way they have a plausible story point to go for.
yeah,
Because I'm sure they have some usable archival footage somewhere. They can
Sure.
Carrie
I'm
Fisher.
just saying. I'm
You
just
know,
saying.
archive
Oh,
footage.
that was terrible. No. I would rather you dismiss him with a line of dialogue than do that shit again. No.
I'm just saying. I'm not advocating for one or the other. I'm just saying Abrams strikes me as that sentimental type of filmmaker who values his collaborations with people
Oh,
and wants
Rise
to.
of Skywalker.
Yeah, that type of. Well, yeah, that type of stuff. I mean, that was the money. That was the money for him. He was just like, fine.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but that he has opportunity to do the same thing where he can reach back and grab archival footage and
Sure.
show the deceased character and as a
Make
jump
him
off
say-
point.
Make him say really weird lines.
This was
Right.
This was JJ on Rise of Skywalker. Hey Disney, it's JJ. How many dump trucks of money? 6. Make it 8, and we got a deal.
Back them all
Holy
up.
shit!
Let's
I'm
go.
getting 8 dump trucks of money to make another Star Wars film.
Did I say 8? I meant 18. I'm sorry. The phone cut off there.
now you could just cast somebody else and have him, have a cape on his face the whole time, like Plan 9. Yeah,
Ugh.
it'll be great.
You want I should move the ship? Okay. Do you need dental work done?
Oh my goodness.
Like 2 people got that joke.
Speaking of
Dan, I know.
MTV,
We know. Me and Tim, we're on the wavelength. We got it.
Yeah, it's fine.
speaking of MTV, not only did South Park creators sign a deal with, we were talking about MTV with Jackass. Not only did the South Park creators
That's
sign
quite
a
the leap
deal
there.
with Paramount Plus, but Mike Judge has signed a deal with Paramount Plus, and we are getting
Yep.
Beavis and Butthead back as middle-aged men, and I cannot wait for this.
It could be good. We'll see how it goes.
That Beavis and Butthead reboot a few years ago was pretty good.
It was
I like-
decent, yeah.
I enjoyed it.
When they tried to become vampires, like in Twilight, because vampires get chicks, they find a guy with hepatitis C and just let him bite them. So they're dying of Hep C, and they think they're turning into vampires, so the chicks will think they're cool. Fantastic. Mike Judge is a brilliant man. I like his movies a lot, and I'm glad we're getting more of these characters. Because going back and watching Beavis and Butthead as an adult, you can catch some more of the satire that Mike Judge was throwing into it. So
That was heavy.
You need to bring back Daria too.
I'm sure they will.
Oh,
It's
God.
just a matter of time, man. It's that money, make it rain.
Bring back the Max. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm right here. I never left.
No.
The Max. not
Sadly,
the-
no.
You're a second tier Max.
Oh,
Yes.
excuse you, sir.
You're the other Max. The other Max.
No.
Oh my God.
Recast.
Pretty sure
Yes.
I was around before.
I do like this. Will Beavis and Butthead work for Strickland Propane? Can Bobby Hill be their boss? I would love that.
That would be great.
Bobby.
Yes.
Have old man Hank roll in and yell at him every now and then.
Yeah.
Damn
Doing
it,
it my
Bobby.
shed.
Bobby.
Well, it'd be really fun to see like the ways in which Bobby has become his father. You know, and like
Yeah, Bobby Hill, my cousin Philip, who's been on this show many times, and he looked like Philip as a kid. So and the dad looked like Philip's dad. So anytime I'd watch King of the Hill, I felt like I was watching Philip and his family.
Yeah, really. That's nice. And you wonder why Phil's not around anymore, Jason.
Like quick podcast. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys all geek out. Here we go. Arcane.
Yes. God, I love that fucking show.
Yeah.
What a good show.
I finished it this morning. I was like, this is awesome. Thank you for recommending it, Max.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I was totally taken by surprise. I started it thinking, hey, this is like a video game, not spin series or whatever. So that's not going to be good. And
is it a free to play game or League of Legends? Is it free to play or not?
I think so. I have no idea. I've never played it.
I've never played it either. So I'm like, this is cool. It makes me care about something I've never really invested in until now.
But it's cool to have a universe that, like, it's like, oh, well, here's another thing. It's like it seems like everything's like either Star Wars or Marvel. Like it's nice to have something else. Like, and they really built the world well. Like it's and I love the animation. I love it in that show. Like they do a lot of different things. They use music, very well. It's so well done.
It's soundtracked very well. I will agree. I'm about halfway through it, I believe. But I've been watching it with my daughter, who like binge watched it on Netflix. She was so into it, and so I've been watching it, an episode here and there with her. But what I've watched so far, I've really enjoyed, and I'm excited to see the finale of it.
Oh, dude, yeah, just wait. It's so good. And then, like, they have to make a season 2. Like, if they don't make a season 2, I'm gonna cry.
Dan, don't say how much you like it. Just shut up now. Dan, don't say anything.
I haven't watched it yet, so you're safe. Although I'm
safe so far. Okay, good.
Since you guys are gushing.
Cool. No, but if you do, just don't tell anyone how you feel. Like, unless you hate it. If you hate it, go ahead and let everyone know.
I hate this show. Oh man, it's terrible. Never make any more of it.
Oh look, it just got signed up for 3 seasons.
Yay!
But no, Arcane was so well done. And it's like, I mean, I let it go by a few times. And I was like, man, like League of Legends, what the hell is that? And they were pushing it kind of hard when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is a trap. But, I was wrong. I was totally wrong. I love that show.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna get Netflixed with it too. So I was like, I don't know. And then my daughter watched it and she really enjoyed it. And she's like, Dad, you got to watch this with me. You got to watch it. I'm like, it was almost one of those things where I was like, fine, okay, whatever, just fine, we'll watch it. And then I was like, this ain't so bad.
I mean, like, it's almost better when you come in with that attitude. You're like, it just makes it so
the
much
bar
better.
the bar was so low I could have tripped over it. I was not expecting much of anything, but after each episode the bar kept going up and up because that's what they did throughout the episodes.
Like, is James Cameron around here somewhere?
About to avatar this thing.
Speaking of James Cameron, though, it's like I wonder how long we're gonna have to wait if they're going to continue with another season, which they most likely will, because apparently I read somewhere like it takes them a week to do 4 seconds of animation. So
I mean, hey, like, take your time. Like
I think the people who really enjoy the show aren't gonna want you to rush it. They're gonna want they've already set the bar as to what the standard is for the quality of the show that they're putting forward. So anything less, the fans won't be happy with. So take your time, get it out, do it right.
Season 2 is coming out.
I'm always an advocate for that. I don't see why you should try to put out a mediocre product because it's not.
It's
no one wants to see that. Yeah,
it's noticeable.
And also, it's just like, if you do the first thing so well, and then you put out this crap afterward, it's just like, it's ugh. That turns me way off. It's just ugh.
I get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Arcane is the shit. I love it.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go finish your thought.
No, I was done.
Okay.
He's done. He's tapping out. He's over.
I'm ashamed I didn't bring this up at the beginning of the show, and we lost a tragic director. I mean, this sucks. It hit home, but as we get older, this is going to happen.
Comedic director, but
he's not a tragic director.
Sorry,
it is tragic we lost.
It's tragic that we lost this director. Ivan Reitman is one of the reasons I love movies the way I do.
Yeah.
From watching the first Ghostbusters, even though I might have seen Ghostbusters 2 first, I can't remember, but I freaking loved Ivan Reitman. I mean, he did Stop and My Mom Would Shoot. That wasn't one of my favorites, but we all can mess up every once in a while.
We'll forgive him for that one.
But he directed a movie I saw so many times in high school with my friends, which was Evolution.
Oh God.
Hey, I will bat for Evolution, man.
That movie
I
is
actually like that
fantastic.
movie.
Yeah.
That movie grew on me. The first time I watched it, I thought it was the dumbest, stupidest thing I'd ever seen, and I refused to ever watch it again. And then I watched it again with some friends, and I laughed my head off. Especially, there's a couple like lines in there.
That's what
You
like Orlando
I thought we
Jones
agreed
and
that
X-Files
Tookie-
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I started buying Head and Shoulders. Was it Head and Shoulders or was it Pert Plus?
It was Head and Shoulders.
Head and Shoulders. Yeah.
Millennium.
Head and Shoulders. Like I started buying Head and Shoulders and using it after I watched that movie. I'd never used it before. Like they got me.
I mean, his resume as a director: Meatballs, Stripes, Ghostbusters, Twins, Ghostbusters 2, Kindergarten Cop, Dave, Junior, Evolution, Draft Day. I mean,
Space Jam.
Yeah.
Well, producer. Yeah.
Produced
Evolution.
Yeah.
Was he producer only on that one? Oh, I thought he was director. Okay.
Well, no, his producer credits are equally as
Equally as impressive.
If Ivan Reitman was not around, we never would have known what a pregnant Schwarzenegger looks like, guys. I mean, that's an achievement in and of itself.
Right. Yeah, that's something everybody was.
Yeah.
Like, I have to see this in my lifetime. Pregnant Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He definitely captured a certain kind of moment, especially in the 80s.
Yeah.
And like it just connected with everybody, whether it was Ghostbusters or whether it was, like you said, Meatballs or Stripes. Well, Stripes, you know, he knew how to collaborate with people because a lot of people would come back to work with him. Murray.
And when you have all stars, like, you know, if you're working with Aykroyd and Murray and yeah, like, oh, okay, you know, like do something poorly. I dare you. You know, like.
I mean, he's got a lot of stuff right now in pre-production on his IMDb.
He kept working. Like, he was working right up until he passed away. It's like,
It was a surprise because, like, when they were doing promotion for Ghostbusters Afterlife, like, he was actively involved. So you just assume that, you know, this guy's going to be around a long time.
It's your time. It's your time.
Great.
Yeah, apparently.
Sometimes you don't know when that ticket's going to get punched.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you look at him, here's a guy who made the most of his time. I mean, you look at all the things that he did, all the movies that he was involved with, either as a director, as a producer. You know, I mean, you go through that list of things that he's been involved with, and most of it is the movies that we've all known and loved through the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I mean, he's got just a crap load, you know, things there. You know, like I was just looking, I was surprised. I didn't know he was involved with the movie I Love You, Man, with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. I freaking love that movie. And, you know, he's one of the executive producers on it. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. So
low key, I will always love him outside of Ghostbusters and Stripes and stuff like that. I will always love him for my guilty pleasure that is Evolution and Dave. Like, I genuinely love Dave.
It's a good
it
show.
was an awesome movie.
So,
what kind of ice cream do you want? I don't care. It's for my ass.
Mr. Reitman, the Three Geeks podcast want to present you with the Xbox Achievement Award that we give to everybody who's lived a full, wonderful life without any controversy that we know of. And,
any major controversy, anyway.
So thank you for the years of entertainment and for giving me Ghostbusters, which in animation and movies has been one of my favorite franchises. So thank you. So, on a positive note, let's shift back into being nerds.
Are we going to talk about Star Wars?
Are we going to talk about Texas Chainsaw? I mean, did I watch that for
Star Wars and Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
All right, Dan, Mike, tell us why we shouldn't watch this Fede Alvarez movie. Well, first, I'm going to make Dan start with positive. Dan, what's a positive from this movie that you enjoyed besides the ending?
I mean, my TV didn't break when I was watching it.
I'm sure like all the lighting guys and you know, like all the caterers got paid and got to go feed their children.
Like, okay, so it's got a decent like setting. Like I like the deserted town in the middle of nowhere, but there's no all of Texas is okay, and it's rather large. No, I mean the deserted town is kind of cool. I mean, you don't get any backstory on it really. I like that the dude playing Leatherface, whoever that was, looks the part with the old lady's face on his face. Although in some of the scenes, it looks like his face is melting a bit, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, that's about it.
I always just wonder, like, does he have like a sewing kit on hand to sew the face onto himself at all times? Because that's an adhesive face.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's supposed to just like put it on and not sew it. It's just supposed to stick because
it's
gooey
durable.
already.
Like he lands in that pool of water and stuff. And
it never comes out.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have a lot. I saw the original. Love the original for what it is. Like 2 a lot. And then saw snippets here and there of the others. I'm just like, whatever. I don't expect a lot from Texas Chainsaw as a franchise overall. Yeah. This one, it's dumb. It's not good. But there were some enjoyable and funny moments for me.
That looks uncomfortable.
I'm going to say that this is slightly better than that one they made a couple years ago where it turns out that his niece comes to like the family house and finds him in the basement and then has to raise him. That was terrible.
I'm curious, Dan. I'm curious. Yeah. Do you feel the Texas Chainsaw movies work better when there is a family involved?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's creepy and awesome that way.
And like, everyone's on it except for the victims. It's like
my favorite ones are the first one, the second one, and Next Generation.
We hated Next Generation.
Next Generation is fun.
Come on.
Matthew McConaughey is amazing in that one.
we needed a trash humper grandpa in this. We needed a dude clearly in weird old man makeup.
Yeah, you need a dinner scene where somebody is in close threat of being eaten. You need Dennis Hopper with a chainsaw just saying, "Bring it down, bring it all down."
How'd you feel about the Sally character coming back, a la Laurie Strode?
That was cool, and then she does absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
and that was not cool.
I was kind of curious, like, why did this character stick around Texas after the events of the first movie? But okay.
And I mean, they tried to make her a badass, like, because that's all the rage after Halloween.
Yeah,
I mean this is just as bad as I don't know if you've seen it, but oh man, what's that horrible exploitation flick from the I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu.
No, I haven't seen I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu.
Yeah, they bring the original actor from the first one back, and it is not a good film by any means, but it reminds me a lot of this one.
Well, that's not the original actress though, because she died in the original.
I know, but I'm saying like it's
like she kind of looks like her, but also like
weird. It's all the rage to bring the original characters back and forget everything else that happened. Though it was. And it is.
She's a tough old lady, though. Chainsaw to the stomach and everything.
Yeah, But when you're not Dennis Hopper, you can't have a chainsaw duel.
Well, it wasn't a chainsaw duel. It was a shotgun versus chainsaw fight.
And she still lost somehow. So.
How do you lose when you have
a shotgun? Because you're sitting there and you talk to him in his room. Okay, this is the most confusing part of the film to me. Okay, she goes up and she finds him and she's got the gun to him and she's like, "Look at me, say my name," and stuff.
That was weird.
He stands up and he walks past her out the door to the street with the chainsaw.
You had a really bad night with a weird ass family. Like, you don't have this deep seated with this guy.
You're not Shaft. but okay, then he goes and threatens this girl in a car. Then and then the old lady apparently just like followed Leatherface back down out to the street. Then points the gun at him again and starts talking to him again. Yeah. It's like, just shoot him. You've got a pump shotgun. It's at least got 4 or 5 shots in it. Come on.
Oh my goodness. That's terrible. Yeah, that's fucking
it's
awful.
Terrible writing. It's terrible it's not mise en scene, but it's using the environment all shitty like.
I mean,
that's what I'm gonna call it.
There's not many things that like trigger my like Marine Corps. Like, but if you don't point your weapon at somebody, you're not going to shoot, okay? Like, that is not what you do.
And you don't start asking a mute guy questions. Like, how many times have you seen him talk that wasn't like a guttural,
he could text or write something down, like if she was really wanting the answers. Like, just because you're mute doesn't mean you're unable to communicate.
Just put him in a sandwich board and have him write stuff.
Yeah,
here's a notepad and pen. Please tell me.
Right,
Leatherface on Jeopardy.
Okay, so does she hold the shotgun on him and then hand him the pad and pen, or does she hand him the pad and pen?
Well, you
then
can
pull up
throw
the shotgun and start asking questions.
Throw the pad and pen on the ground, so he has to drop the chainsaw. To
well,
pick
hey, look, Dan, as notebook and pen guy, you see my notebook and pen right here. I'm offended if you throw notebooks and pens on the ground. Okay, like
or do they have like the notepad at the end of the shotgun posted on a turnstile? So you can write on it and turn it to where she can see it.
Yes.
And then
it's like when you're in the marching band, but you didn't memorize the music and you've got the little stand on it. It's like that. You just kind of.
Well, here ultimately, this is why. What I liked about Jamie Lee Curtis in 2018 Halloween, what worked about that is because they gave more depth to that whole interaction. Like she fixated on this person who terrorized her for years. And the ultimate irony of that whole movie is that he could care less. Like, he's not out to get her.
Yeah.
He just does his thing. And she kind of takes offense to that, which kind of works in that film. Here it's like there's nothing was really fully established as to a deep-seated kind of rivalry between these two characters.
And speaking of like that, like nothing that's presented in the film actually means anything at the end. Like they bring all these like kids out there, and they're supposed to be like dreamers and whatever
they want
with their newfangled electric cars, and they don't like the Texans with guns, and but they all get butchered on a bus in like 5 minutes.
Well, so ultimately that's pointless too, because I found it weird to kind of be like, okay, one of these characters is a survivor of a school shooting, but we're going to make her arc like she's not afraid of guns anymore. When it's like, this feels wildly out of place in this movie. Like, you want to give it this really serious subplot when we're about to just like decapitate people left and right. Like,
it's like this.
Choose a lane. It's like
like the writers like took parts of different movies but didn't like put the right didn't match the right beginning to the ending. it's just like all big squiggles all over the place. Because like okay, Green Inferno has the same kind of beginning, with all these these kids are going to go out and help these poor guys in the jungle. But at the end, there's that reckoning that comes. It's like, oh man, these guys didn't need help; they just needed food, and they're eating us. So this doesn't have that.
As you know, I'm not real big into the slasher type of movies and things, but I would find it more realistic, I guess, if they would have a scene where like the bad guy with the chainsaw has to be like, hold on a second, I need to add more bar oil or fill up the gas tank. Like,
that would work.
Or he's cutting through something, he gets the bar stuck and has to break it free on something. It's you never see him refilling.
Well,
I'm just saying.
That's the escapism. Because ultimately, in real life, chainsaw is a terrible offensive weapon.
Well, I mean,
especially going up a pump action shotgun. It should be that should just be click click boom and done.
And you're so satisfied when you rack one back to it.
See, like you don't have to stop shooting.
Dan, do I dare ask what's your rating out of 5?
Oh, this is bad. I mean, this is
and not the good kind of bad.
Like its major sin is it's mostly just boring.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worst.
Yeah.
So this is gonna get a 1.5.
Better than I thought you were gonna give it.
No, because it doesn't deserve lower. Because lower things would be amazing.
I'm there with Dan too. It gets a 2 for me just because I did laugh. At certain situations, but he's right. It's boring, and you don't really invest enough in characters to want to root for them at the end of the day. You're just kind of like, whatever. But there were some set pieces that worked for me here and there.
Oh, and slap that spoiler thing up here, JT. The ending just really pissed me off. Because, okay.
Which one? The Nightmare on Elm Street ending? Or
all three of them.
Oh, God. They fucking Lord of the Rings did?
Yeah, kind of. Okay, so they're fighting for some reason around this pool that looks like it's full of, I don't know, like, old radiator junk or something. But anyway, so Leatherface falls in there with the girl. You see the girl climb out. They don't take you under with the camera to see what the hell's going on. So how did that happen, first of all? Secondly, the two girls get back together, and then Leatherface pops out of the thing again, and she uppercuts him with the chainsaw. She doesn't stab him with it. She just goes flap, and he falls into the pool again. Yeah, and then they leave because, of course, he's dead, right? And then it's a nice sunny day, and there's no sign of the rain or anything on the ground that was just happening. Right. They get into their new electric car with super drive thing, I guess.
Yeah, and it drives itself.
Yeah, so they put it on autopilot. Or the one girl puts it on autopilot while the other one's outside. And Leatherface comes running out and saws her head off. So the girl's just poking out of the sunroof of the self-driving car at the end. It's going,
It's really demented. It's a small world.
It's so stupid.
It worked. I kind of like that. And then he goes home.
Yeah.
Because that house will still be there. So sure.
Yeah.
At that point, just get Franklin to wheel out in his wheelchair and be like,
yeah. Hi, everybody. Like they get as many people as they could from all of the past Texas chainsaws.
And they all Franklin. Cyborg
and they all
with robot
they all
wheels.
sing it's a small world. There you go.
There we go.
Well, you guys sold me. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie. 100%. By all means, Jason, watch it. In fact, watch it this weekend.
I'm a completionist. For better or worse, I have to watch it because my mind will not let me not watch it.
No, if Dan rates it between like 1.5 and 2 3/4, it's nigh unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't wait to not watch it.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Me and Tim are in the same boat. Like, oh man,
you guys got the right impression. not that you would watch it anyway, Max.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not my bag. But
no, it's not mine either. But
I'm waiting on like, oh my god, like you have to watch this. I don't even care if you don't like horror. Like that's
right. Yeah.
Whenever somebody says that, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a watch. And then
Speaking of which, have you seen the trailers
for the same? Nope? For what? I'm sorry.
For Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Oh my god, I cannot wait. I'm gonna go watch that one for sure.
That looks amazing so far. Like,
yes, I love. I mean, like I have to watch it just because of the title. Like,
yeah.
Because like when I saw the title of the movie, I was like, that's exactly what I thought. At the beginning of Get Out, when they have the most realistic scene in any horror movie ever. I was like, nope. No, you're not getting me like that.
I hate to break up this conversation. We will talk Star Wars as soon as our guests we're done talking to our guests. But I want to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to play Kulick's music video, and we'll see you guys in 2 quick minutes. Bye.
What a sick joke, standing on a planet that's dying just as fast as it's flying into oblivion. What a big world filled with politicians and liars, heavy shitstorms and fires. I feel delirious. I need another 8 hours of sleep, another 20 years back, and some good energy. It's coming. I can't go on complaining about everything. I'm gonna keep my pace forward I'm not furious to see the light up in the distance. Everyone I know will die. Am I the only one? Keep getting up. What a big hoax. I feel superstitious and tired. Am I the only one trying to keep it genuine? What's your sickness? So bored that you're making your problems faster than you can solve them, and wonder why you feel like you need another 8 hours of sleep, another 20 years back, and some good energy. It's coming. You can't go on complaining about everything. You gotta keep your base forward to that permanent sleep. It's coming. Everyone I know will die. Am I the only one who doesn't want to live forever? 'Cause forever's not enough. I'm not angry, but I'm not fearless to see the light up in the distance. Everyone I know will die. Am I the only one? Don't pretend that everything is fine, 'cause everyone you know will die. Appreciate your time, 'cause everyone you know will die. Say goodbye and kiss goodnight, 'cause everyone you know will die. Everyone I know will die. Everyone I know will die. Everyone I know will die. It's
We're back with our guests. Everybody needs to unmute themselves because I muted all of you during the video.
How dare you?
It is absolutely awesome to have some guests on and play their video and have them head bobbing in the green room. Like, that's fantastic. Welcome to the show, guys.
What is
You
this
guys
bust them out? Like, yeah, do you rock out to your own music all the time?
Yeah, I'd say not the video so much. That's why I was kind of not in my head. Like, I kind of release it and then let everybody else kind of watch it. But we listen. The songs are so not old, but old to us, you know. So we've been doing that for like 6 months now.
It's in your nature, but also too, like I always release music with the idea that like no one's gonna listen to it, so I have to love it. You know what I mean? Like I have to stop, because like if I release it, no one likes it, or if I release it and people do like it, I'm still gonna love what I did. So that's why I'm no shame about bopping to my own stuff.
April, that dancing in that video though is fantastic.
Yeah, I'm professional on TikTok dances, which I'm super proud of since it's so good for society and all.
It wasn't satirical whatsoever.
No.
Not even a little bit. No.
No.
So how have you guys been? It's been about a year since
puppy.
Justin and I talked to you guys.
Yeah, we've been good. Ellie's probably gonna bark a little bit. That's why we're just gonna make her scene. But yeah, we've been real good. Jacob just released a record. I helped on a couple of those songs. I just released a new single on Friday. Music video should be coming out with that in a couple of days. Yep. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, the record's doing good. Music video's out. Making some content for that because it is such a digital world too.
Yeah.
So we're spending a lot of time doing that. But yeah, we're good. I'm working on the next album already, and
trying to finish
on her album too.
I have a full length album that I expect to have out by the end of the year. So
nice.
Yeah, just finishing up all those songs. I mean, some of them are as old as I started writing one in 2017. Finally figured out the verses for it, but I was just so attached to the chorus. I was like, I can't let this one go. So, finally working on that. But yeah, so I'm excited to get it out.
That's kind of interesting too, though. It's like, okay, you put together something. You're like, okay, this doesn't work, but this part I like, or I need to carry forward, and maybe you're just waiting on a different perspective or something to make it all work. How's that for? Like, what's that kind of experience like?
I have a love relationship with it, because like when I first write a song and I really love a part of it and I can't get the rest, I'm like, oh, I failed. I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, I failed. So when I can finally just have like I try to give myself a second chance to be like, no, you haven't failed. Just let it be for a minute, because that's what I would tell someone else. So that advice is usually better than the advice I give myself, but like, let it be, whatever. And then it always comes back to me, this one melody and this one story that I was trying to write. And I realized since the chorus at that time was written about a past situation, for the verses, I needed to reflect even more, to have more closure about, that exact story. So I actually really enjoyed it, and I love the song now. I'm so happy that it's a kind of a more complete thing. So it was a great experience to do. I didn't really expect to do it that way, but I look forward to kind of doing that with other songs that I have that are kind of not finished.
I gotta say, as somebody who follows you guys on Instagram, you guys seem to genuinely like hanging out with each other. I think it was New Year's Eve that you guys were in New York. Yeah, absolutely. You could tell that the working relationship.
I will say it has been the most rewarding relationship that I've ever had with a human being.
Yeah.
And it makes, because what we do is very trying, where like you're on cloud 9 one day and the next day you're in a back alley getting like beat up.
That only happened once.
Happens a few times throughout the year, to be honest. But no, it's good to have somebody who also is doing the same thing, so that you can kind of be like, you know, you can bounce ideas off of each other. You can also, you know, mental health wise, be like, hey, here's how I feel about this today. And be like, oh, remember, you know, I felt like that last week, but it'll pass, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ellie, I gotta put Ellie in the crate.
All right, he's gonna take care of Ellie because she's gonna try to be the star of the interview. But yeah, like before I met Jake, like I was living in New York with a lot of artists, but I was the only one that actually was working full time as an artist, which, you know, in turn, I was a freelancer. I was in control of my own time. And, you know, at 25, that could go like either way, as far as like, you know, the motivation and, you know, the drive to have a schedule and things like that. So when I had first met Jake, he was doing the same thing. And I can actually be like, what is your routine? Like, what do you do? I'm talking about how we didn't. Yeah. So it's been really helpful to actually like have somebody that's actually also available during the day and works during the day on music specifically. And, you know, we've just optimized all of our projects by including the other one, which I don't think artists in general, especially now with like the egos blaring, I don't think people do that enough. Like, it, you know, you can all be at the top together. It's not like one person wins. So we're like big proponents of that logic.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
absolutely.
I like you said, you guys work a lot, but how do you know, like April or Kulick, how, like, if you're collaborating, like April, how do you know that you don't want to save it for your project? Like, this fits better with what he's doing. Like, how does that cross your mind?
Sometimes it's hard when you're writing for other people, but to me, if my name's on it, I'm going to make it the best I can. Even if I write one lyric or one melody or whatever, I want to make it the best I can. And he's got a very specific sound. I think I'm forming a pretty specific sound. And
a lot of times we don't like, you know, start a day and go from nothing and go, let's write a song and then not know who it's for or anything. Like, I write very much by myself. She writes very much by herself. She gets it to 85% finished.
Yeah.
I get mine to 85% finished. And then when we work together, it's like, okay, we know what we're doing. It's like, this is your project. And now I'm here to clean up production and help with, like, we call it like sprinkles. Like, I add sprinkles to the track, you know, like the ear candy and maybe change a word or two. And she does the same thing, where it's like, where my songs is like, okay, like for instance, the song, The People I Know Don't Like Me. Like, I had a chorus for that song that had so many words in it. She was like, just keep saying, I don't like the people I know way more than you're doing it. And I was like, yeah, that's way better.
I think it's such a funny thing. Like, why wouldn't you just continually say that? But yeah, I think there's like a crucial moment too, when you're a collaborator or collaborating. The important thing to learn is when to bring somebody and when to not. Like, we've definitely struggled with, like, I've brought him in too early on songs that I have a very specific feeling towards, and same, or like production, he's really very focused always on the production vision. So we've kind of been more recently even trying to hone in the best time to really collaborate and give that control up, because when you're a solo artist, you have a very specific perspective that needs to be consistent,
or vision kind of thing.
I was curious, like, between the two of you, since you do collaborate and offer ideas and kind of contributions to one another's music, like, are there primary influences that you all have in common, or some musical influences that you pull a lot of ideas or inspiration from?
I think each of our projects has a specific energy or sound that we're going for. Like, I know for April's, when I'm producing, there's specific influences, like Max Martin Productions, like for pop productions for sure, especially percussion. But she also has this, you know, theatrical feel with strings and
Lots of vocals.
I wouldn't say it's a specific artist or anything like that, but we definitely reference certain songs. We're like, oh, this song feels like this song that's already out. So how can we make it that, but with you? And same with me too. Same thing. Where I'm like, oh, I love this song by Weezer. How can we make that sound like a Kulick song?
Yeah.
And by the time you're done with it, you're not like, it's totally a brand new thing. It's so cool.
And then, we share musical influences for sure. Like, we both love Tom Petty, but he introduced me to Tom Petty, like, in a real way.
Yeah, and you showed me Keen, which I like.
Keen. I love Keen.
Nice. Good choice.
Love Keen.
Great choice.
What else? Who else do we both jointly like?
We have a playlist called Yield Lemoyne on Spotify. And it is ridiculous. And it's just songs that get us in a really good mood. It's definitely not musical inspiration,
we don't
but
write
it's a
music.
break. We don't write music like it. It has like
Who Let the Dogs Out is on there. It's just that one amps us up.
to lighten things up.
All right.
All right.
Taking care of business too. Taking care of business.
Or like
just stupid like 90s hype up songs. Like we just love like that kind of genre.
The 90s were good for the hype songs. I feel like that was the era.
We're just goofy. Like we're like goofy nerds who love music and
dancing.
Yeah, she loves dancing.
You dance.
I stand there. She dances around.
A little bit of movement is technically dancing. Like you don't have to do much.
He's got the sway, right?
Exactly. A
little sway back and forth. It gets the job done.
That's so headbang. You're fine.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to say that I had an opportunity to listen to a lot of your music over the last couple of months because there was he was involved with one of the oh goodness, my mind just went blank. Hey, this is a great question. I got it. Yeah, we're good.
Just coming up as soon as I think about it again.
As soon as I think about it again, it's gonna be fantastic. No, he was anyway, but we'll just scrap that half the question. Anyway, I've been listening to your music for a couple months now, and I've really enjoyed it. But with the latest album, it seems like this is a very much more concise vision of what you're trying to do. It seems to be more pointed instead of generality, pointed in a specific direction. Like this album is something that the Everyone I Know Will Die album is something that I can sit down and listen to without having to skip a song, and for me that's always an impressive thing. If I can just sit down and I can listen to it straight through, for me that's fantastic. So was there an intent to have that more of a tighter, more constructed vision on this album?
Yes, before I released Yelling in a Quiet Neighborhood before it, and that one was, I love that record, love the title of the record, love all the songs, but production wise was all over the place, kind of on purpose, where I was like, I just want to do whatever, every single song as if it's a single. All right, this song should be this sounds like Ed Sheeran, this sounds like Katy Perry, this sounds like The Used, whatever. And then this record, I was like, I want to go in a lane, and I've loved emo alternative music my whole life. And I was like, let's just put me in that lane. Like, I want to put myself in that lane. And that feels different than somebody else telling you to go in that lane, Perfect. Yeah. And just as far as listening to the album through, I always try to do that. I mean, the songs are pretty much on every album that I release in chronological order of how I write them. So it should tell the story by itself. There's no like, I need to tell a story. It's okay. I wrote all these songs in this order, put them on like that, So that's interesting. I mean, it's every now and then you move some around. Like there's an acoustic song, Don't Think About Me. Like I don't want to put that, at the end of the record. Like it makes sense to put it in the middle. So
right.
Definitely on purpose.
It's good stuff for sure.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you about like when you release an album, like how do you pick which song goes first? But like I guess if I wrote it first, that's what I'm playing first. Like that makes sense. But
makes sense. Yeah.
No, it's more of it's just the story arc. Like because all right, if I wasn't writing so personally about my life, then that wouldn't make sense. But it was pretty much from like the start of a certain time period, then all the things that were happening throughout that year, and I was writing about them up until I was finished with the album. So it made sense to put it in order. If I was just writing, not so personal of songs, then it wouldn't chronologically make sense anyway then.
Yeah,
nice.
Sorry, and it was such a short time period too that it kind of all falls within the same world, so it's kind of easier.
Yeah, I wrote the whole thing in what, 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months probably.
3 months probably, because
nice.
Yeah,
produced and everything done.
Yeah, like we
They hauled ass on that record.
Yeah, like there was a lot of stuff going on with her health wise and in and out of hospitals, and I was like kind of like a caretaker at that point, and I needed to get an album finished, so I was writing songs, basically having panic attacks, writing the basic structure with a guitar, garbage drums, and my vocal, and then I sent it to Kevin Eiserman, the other producer on the whole record. He cleaned up the entire thing, sent it back to me, and then I would finish it, and then that's how we got the whole record done. So like I would not have an album if it weren't for him, and I think he added a lot to the modern alternative, because if I did it myself, it would have sounded like a classic rock record, because that's just what I write.
Yeah,
he helped a lot.
He's like great with different guitar tones, and like
Exactly.
like the newest guitar tone that somebody's using on some song that's big, like he knows it. I don't know how.
Yeah, he knows a lot of producers too that are modern. Like he's super. He's helpful for both of us, because he produces on all her stuff too.
He was a producer on "Do You," my first single, "Bad Habit." I would say 75% of the new record as well. So yeah, he works with
awesome. Okay.
He doesn't give himself enough credit.
Yeah, he still doesn't know he's a producer, even though he's produced like for 5 years.
He's like,
don't tell him. Don't tell him.
He's really phenomenal. So we're lucky to have him in our corner.
Definitely,
for sure.
So April, you brought up your song "Bad Habits." Let's talk about that for a quick second, because by the way, awesome.
Thank you.
No, that song is awesome. I love when we had you on Pop Culture Addicts, we talked about the song "Do You" and how I love songs with chord changes and where it kind of, you're not expecting it and it hits you. And I love especially in "Bad Habit," where you go into the chorus and it goes from the verse to the chorus, and there's a certain chord change there, and it kind of is like, ooh,
yeah,
that's kind of nice. And then that chorus, by the way, that's an earworm. Yeah. I'm your bad habit, but it don't make me bad. Yeah, that's the more you hear that in the song, I'm like, yeah. So
thank you. Yeah, I love that song. It came out. It was something I started writing with Kevin 100 years ago in Astoria in Queens, and he kind of came up with the piano chords initially, and then I just started kind of like, there was just a lot on my mind at that time, and I wasn't sure if that lyric made sense, but it made a lot of sense to me. This whole idea of, not being ashamed of trying to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And I think oftentimes, whether it's in relationships or just in life, like certain situations that, and this is just my personal experience, like, I can't speak for everyone, but I think like a lot of times, like, women get like strangely penalized for trying to like either date a little bit more or figure out their job circumstances or whatever it may be, and then it's like, oh, she's a ditch, she doesn't know what she's doing,
right?
When people around me that are guys or whatever, there's like a whole big thing of like, oh yeah, he's a big shot, or like, oh yeah, he's doing this and he's doing this, so at that time too, I was struggling with that as well, as kind of like an on again off again relationship, but it kind of came full circle because I've been dealing, and you'll see this a little bit more in the music video. This whole last year I was diagnosed with epilepsy, which basically makes me incapacitated for moments at a time. And I have to rely on people, like obviously like Kulick has been a very big help in that. And so like, overcoming the shame of having people take care of you, or, I just had to deal with that a lot. And so that song, kind of the overarching thing for me is just, you got to live your life in the moment, and, don't be ashamed of where it's going to take you or who you become. But yeah, I love that tune. It feels a lot like me.
Yeah. I gotta ask, when because Kulick, for example, you post mostly stuff promoting your albums and your music career, obviously, but recently, because like you guys said, you're pulling from some experience, you shared a personal photo. What is that like, where you're trying to figure out how much of yourself to share and how much to pull back on?
Terrible.
Yeah. It's really tough.
It was about a 2-hour conversation of like, April, do you care if I share this? Like, because I'm trying to promote the record, because there's two sides to it. One is, you don't want to share too much of your personal life, but you're an artist, so you should. But secondly, it's not my life. It's something that happened to her. But my record is about being a caretaker to you, so I have to tell your story. But your story is also, like, I want her to be able to use her story for her music and her songs. Yeah, so it was an interesting thing of like, like we have. Can I say anything about the?
Yeah.
Like we have footage of this whole experience, like hospital visits. I filmed everything.
Hours
Like
long.
we're gonna have a documentary. We're trying to work on it now.
We're trying to produce something to show the story.
But I was like, listen, let me just share one photo of you in the hospital bed. And, you know, half of me is like, because I know someone will at least stop and read the fucking caption if I do that one. And, you know, but because, yeah, it's a weird game we play as artists, and especially on social media. But I think we pretty much are on the same page.
Yeah,
there hasn't been a part where you're like, why did you, like, I always ask before, and she does the same.
Nah, we're similar with that. Yeah, because it's definitely hard to, like, I'm trying to you know, get stronger in my social media presence too, because it's not innate to me to be like, oh my god, look at me, unless I'm on stage, because I like to sing. And in order to be a successful singer, people need to care. So that's the only reason why I get on stage and I sing, and I love that. And that, to me, that's where I can show myself and, you know, have my ego in my world for those 30, 40 minutes and then be done with it, because it's exhausting. So like a lot of people, you know, are really, which is just great. I really wish that I had this capability to be more into myself. But I'm trying to up my social media presence, and it's difficult to be like, oh, well, I know if I say I'm a queer female artist with epilepsy, everyone's gonna be like, wow, but like I'm a musician.
And I say the same thing. Like I'm like, I'm a queer 29-year-old who's half deaf and plays songs. Like I don't want people to like me for those reasons. But again, to go back to the answer to the question, like to share personal life, I've done that my whole life and my whole career. I think that's very important. But I've never had a specific thing where I needed to also make sure that someone else is okay with it. I always share myself, but this is a joint story.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but it is really hard, and I'm still working on it. I'm still working on knowing what the line is, because everybody's lines are very different.
And with so many different platforms to kind of utilize for social media, it's a hard balance too. Like I found that to be the case with my own social media presence, because this really isn't my day job necessarily. So I want to keep that part of my life separate. And it's like, but then you have YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, things like, it's like, how much do you divulge? I think it's cool that you've achieved a balance of some kind.
Well, also this is our day job. So that's the part that's difficult for us. Cause it's like, okay, like you need to make content all day. You will kind of need to share yourself, but you don't really like, yeah, it's really difficult. Like I'd love to just be able to wake up and make music, but it's like you got to answer emails, you got to make the content, which is fine. And also, we always, like we just said this the other day, we're like, everyone we've talked to about social media, no one goes, "Oh yeah, I love doing it."
I love content.
Even if they have huge following, if they have huge following, they're never like, "Oh yeah, I love doing this." It's like
they're like, "Oh yeah, it's a lot of work."
Oh, gotta beat the algorithm, gotta beat the robot. Yeah, like no one likes this, so why are we fucking doing this? Like, what is going on?
Social media for me is just the absolute worst, because like I do not want to know what every person on the planet is thinking all the time.
Me neither.
Like it's not necessary, and most of it is just garbage.
Yeah.
So how do you, like, you know, again, like you're saying, like, okay, I'm gonna share myself. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna put, you know, this out. We're gonna keep this home. But like when you get subjected to, you know, like all this garbage, like what, like how is that handling that for you guys? Like, I mean, because I'm basically half on Facebook, and that's about all I can stand.
Yeah, right.
But like, you know,
for me personally, app limits. I think it's an hour and a half on all social media combined a day, and I'll clear that passcode if I'm creating. I am never on my home page or explore page. It's only like I'm on there for a business. If someone comments, I'm replying. And now the problem is the algorithms don't really reward that. They want you on the platform. They want you to be interacting with other people. So that part sucks for me, but I'd rather not be suicidal. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
You do.
Solid plan.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm trying, like I'm a bit of a nerdier woman, and I'm not really necessarily in the school of like throwing on a bikini and like posting it for likes. Like I want to show people like the way I'm making my music, and like there's nothing wrong with that.
Books
like
you read.
Yeah, books I want to read. Like that's what I'm into. Like I said, like I'm not into showing my ass. So like I
appreciate that.
Thank you. I really that's fine. Like people can do whatever they want, and like that's the good thing about social media. Like there's different pockets of people that can connect with other pockets of people, whatever. But like I find it like I try to find other, women or artists that like, I might admire, or maybe I could like model what I'm doing after them. And it's really hard for me to find people who have big followings that do what I want to do.
Everybody April like she's like, they're not on social media.
I follow some authors, I follow some musicians, and they're like they don't spend time on it,
but they already have a following, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So that's the part where
it's hard because like I have like a small
right
following of like really great people, but also I'm starting to TikTok. That's a whole other platform, so it's more of a discovery platform. And for me, the way that I just try to reason with making the content and having a good time with it is like it's just like it's the new, hey, I'm gonna go do an open mic, oh, I'm gonna go play a small show, I'm gonna go out for a small meeting. Like it's just sort of like I don't remember who was telling us this,
new promotion.
But yeah, it's like in the in the olden days, you'd be, go doing like a small radio tour, going to radio stations, meeting people, like, stuff like that. So this is kind of just the new placeholder for that. It's just very, I think because we got to film it from like your house basically. So it feels very personal, but
yeah, you're letting people in, but also it's like when I first started music, the way I dreamt it was like tour, obviously, which we get to do. That's great. Record in the studio all day, have someone else kind of like take pictures and behind the scenes stuff, have little documentary segments, whereas now it's like I'm a video editor editing videos on my phone with my 2 ape hands. Like, I don't like doing this all day, man. This ain't fun. Like this is me as a musician now. Like,
but yeah, it's hard to like prioritize, because if you don't, a good following will help you promote the music that you make. But if you spend too much time on the music that you're making and no time promoting it, so it's a hard balance that sort of threatens me often mentally. Like it's my paranoia.
We have battles with that almost daily, where like sometimes April will like break down and be like, I spent all day just filming content and I hate all of it.
I don't even like
I don't even want to be doing this. I don't, and then like there's other days like, okay, felt good doing that.
Yeah.
And it's just it's very mentally taxing. Like I feel bad. I don't understand, to each his own, but I don't understand if you aren't trying to be an influencer or a musician or something of that sort. I don't understand why people want to create content or be on these things.
I wouldn't be on it.
Like I'd rather just be on the side of a mountain somewhere.
Understood. Yeah.
On a small scale,
funny memes.
Social media.
Yeah, I like memes.
Memes are a whole nother topic, though. So, hey, let me ask you this, because I host another show called Focused on Forward, where we talk about overcoming obstacles and challenges in life. We focus a lot on mental health and mental health recovery, and I talk about my own struggles with mental health and the importance of going out and reaching out for help and therapy and things along those lines. But one of the other things that we talk about is the self-care and the self-help that we give ourselves in times of challenge. So when you guys are having the down days, the mentally tough days, the struggle days, what do you guys do in terms of self-care to kind of, try and right the ship, so to speak?
Go to the gym a lot. Like we try to get to the gym every morning and run. We love to run.
That's not even on tough days. Like we pretty much try to have at least some type of structure, like wake up, go to the gym and run and lift a little bit and then work on the day. So that way you kind of start in the positive, you have endorphins flowing kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of helps. That's kind of like how can I say? That's a precautionary thing to kind of keep yourself up. You get out of the house, especially when you both work from home.
Yeah, because a lot of times if we're like, we'd rather be home when we go to the gym and like we hated that we had to go. By the time we're done, like we always said we want to have a sign above our door that said you should probably go for the run. Because no matter what, it like feels good. It kind of is
okay, even if you have to walk some of it. If you hurt yourself,
even if it sucked, yeah, like you at least did it, and you can go the rest of the day saying you did it, and that helps you during down days for sure. Yeah. I have very poor inner dialogue and have my whole life.
Okay,
I'm very into like the Buddhism and meditation and that. Like every morning, I've started again. I've done it for years, but I kind of got off of it when she was going through all the health stuff because I was like way too busy and in my head to even want to be there in silence. But I wake up and I'll do like a half-hour stretches / meditating on like a yoga mat. And I'll say like I am. So like I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm grateful for today. Like nice. A lot of things. So that way I'm trying to rewire my brain to say those things instead of like, the self-hatred type of
perfect
dialogue, which I have no idea where it came from, and I'm still like kind of going through that, figuring that out. But yeah, and also like I smoked a lot of weed, which really like I think was
when Max is like, yeah.
So you quit and you're like 270 days sober, and you're like, how do people function without it? And it's very difficult for me to cope with that, because I always called that like the nostalgia drug, where you feel like a little kid and you feel warm all the time, and I miss that. So I have the mental health thing, battling I possibly might have been an addict for a few years without noticing this thing going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
We like boxing too. We like boxing too.
Yeah.
We'll hold the mats and
I like to draw. That's been my new thing. I've had to be really careful about my diet, and a lot of my things that I used to start, like coffee. I don't really. This is totally decaf. I can't really do any coffee.
Sure it is.
I swear, I would not be sitting upright if it wasn't.
Yeah, with the epilepsy,
yeah. So I
can't
can't have a lot of things
man.
like my diet and my some of the things that I used to sort of go to for refuge, essentially, like Jake said. I'm completely without now, so I had to kind of like reform some healthier habits. But I noticed when I kind of take a lot of this, I think I get overwhelmed. Like I have sensory overload anxiety. That's kind of something I've always dealt with. So when I can kind of strip away all the different sounds and things like that, and just sit in silence and focus on one thing, whether it's reading or drawing or even just like laying with my dog and like petting her or something, like something very simple and comfortable, that usually helps me on down days. And sometimes listening to my own stuff, or like looking at past accomplishments, can be like, yeah, there was a time when that I didn't realize that could be my reality. So I have to keep moving forward, thinking more good things are coming. But yeah, it's
Nice.
interesting.
Cool.
It's interesting.
I was about to ask, like, does music play a role? But you've answered that there for me, like a role in the self-care. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's from time to
music's
time.
definitely therapeutic.
Yeah.
Since it's our day job, like sometimes it's more stressful now, but like weekends, like last night, like we all day yesterday pretty much just separately were like in our headphones in
Like
this room, like just indulging in our own music, which was like really nice and therapeutic. And a lot of things we said are things that people just suggest, and I feel like when people are depressed, they hear these things and they're like, great, the same 4 suggestions that everyone says: go for a run, eat well, meditate. It's not easy, but I'm telling you, if you force yourself to do it, afterwards you feel a little bit better, and you can at least say, okay, I took care of myself a little more today than I would have.
I did this. Yeah.
Yes. And I used to hate when people said that. It was like, okay, great. Yeah. Oh, just talk to someone, or just, it sounds, when you're in that mindset, it's
uncomfortable.
You're
it sounds like the dumbest thing ever for somebody to have ever suggested to you when you're in that mindset.
Anyone who tells me to go take a run might get punched in the face. Like, I hate running so much.
Some other people,
No.
it's totally to each his own.
Yeah, like
if I'm running, you better be running too. So that's
if I'm running, something better be on fire. Okay, like,
right, exactly. There's an emergency. Somebody's in danger. We better go.
You got to figure it out for yourself, because there are people that are also like are not able to be as mobile as others. So it's hard for me to always like, hey, go for the run, like whatever. So
there's small things too. Like I love nostalgia. That makes me feel good, right? So like my grandmother's house always had strawberry milk. Like I might have a glass of strawberry milk and it'll make me feel better. Nice. It's not really that healthy. I don't give a shit. It's like, that's what made me feel good.
It's a mood booster.
Yes. Yeah. So like there's a balance, and the balance. If you're doing too much of one thing, just be honest with yourself. Take a moment. Okay, is this indulgence, or is this running? There's a taco truck nearby. Nice. Taco truck.
Nice.
John gets it. John gets it.
There you go.
All right. So what you need for motivation is a taco truck in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
you can reward yourself with the tacos.
My own personal hell is the taco truck that's driving away. Like I just get closer and it just drives a little farther. I'm like, no.
You got a taco on a stick on the back.
If they were to dangle like tacos and tequila shots off the back end, and I had to chase it, I might be a much skinnier man.
Oh, dude, looking like Rocky.
yourself. That's the thing.
I
You don't.
was
It's
gonna
not
say,
like run and like only eat carrots. It's like you can run
Right.
and like sometimes we'll
like
go,
we'll be like, hey, if we run 3 miles today, let's stop at Starbucks on the way home.
or let's
Cool.
go have a big meal that like
Yes.
we can treat ourselves.
Nice,
Like, we've eaten
nice.
in the house all week, or like I'll cook something special. Like
It's
so
all about balance.
you gotta
It's
feel
all about
good and
balance.
not burn yourself out
absolutely, yeah.
and not put yourself out. But yeah, it takes time to figure out what works for you, because I definitely had a hard time in the beginning figuring out what worked for me, and now other stuff works better for me because I'm 2 or 3 years older,
Right,
and I'm
Right, right.
so
Yeah.
but self-care
Different
is
scenarios, yeah.
really important, especially
Yeah.
when you are alone a lot of the time.
I think for us too, like the self-care thing, like I don't know if this is how everybody is, but working on music, I'm in flow and I'm busy. So like
Yeah.
I'm cool. I don't really have down. Like I don't feel down when I'm working on music. I don't feel down when I'm busy most of the time. It's when like weekends are like, all right, I want to relax. After 2 hours, I'm like, holy shit, I'm anxious. I don't feel good. What am I supposed like? I literally can't relax.
yeah, when you're not working sometimes and you love it so much, it's hard to not.
Right.
not-
Yeah, like
not-
Yeah.
yesterday we wanted to work on music for like 2 hours, and I was like, all right, cool, sounds good. 11:30 p.m. Okay, I guess.
Well, I mean,
You know,
like,
it's
but
like-
if you're looking around, like, where did the time go? I think you're doing things right. Like, and unless you're, like,
We have
trying to
Alexa
go or
alarms literally at 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock to go off to remind us
So
to eat
we
lunch and
eat.
dinner.
something.
Hey,
That's fair.
it's a solid way to do it. I wanted to say too.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to say too early. You mentioned that Kulick, that you've started using self affirmation and things along those lines, and I think that's a really healthy way to do it. My counselor called it stop therapy, where you tell yourself to stop thinking about the issue that you have in front of you, and then tell yourself 3 to 5 positive things that are real and true in the moment that which you're in. And for me, I found that to be profoundly helpful because my mind was going in a whole lot of different places, and getting myself to do that was a really big step.
Can you clarify that more? So like, all right, you have a bad thought. You literally tell yourself stop, and then you think of 5 things not pertaining to it at all.
Or is it related?
Yes.
It's not related
So-
to it, completely different.
So for instance, the reason why I started doing it, so my daughter was in the hospital for 97 days. She's been diagnosed with something called Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's a chronic illness. She'll have it for the rest of her life.
Okay.
But there's one night in particular in the hospital that I had nightmares about for 3 to 6 months. I had the same nightmare every single night. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't function. And so I had to learn how to tell myself, stop. She's healthy. She's fine. She's home. She's not in the hospital. And so sometimes, the things that you tell yourself to stop and then refocus your thoughts with, the 3 to 5 things, whatever those are, they can be tied to that thing, especially if it's something extremely negative, and something life-changing. Then it's, hey, then it's these things, and these are the positive things that are the opposite of whatever that situation is.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the the negative headspace of I'm a crap podcaster. I don't do this right. I don't do that right. I'm crap at this.
I
I
don't
suck
think
at that.
there's any such thing as a crap podcaster.
Oh, man, I'm sitting here filling out an application for you to replace Dr. Phil on television.
But sometimes
man.
I just have to kind of redirect that energy into to other positive things that hey, where I feel like I'm failing, or in this situation or that situation in life. Yeah, okay, so I'm not hitting the mark here, but man, I'm nailing it over here. So it's just it's a redirection, it's a refocus, and you said it, I think, best, is that it's a rewiring of your brain and telling yourself to look at things more positively. And I don't think enough people do that. And they sit and they focus on the negative instead of trying to find the silver lining, trying to find the positive in the situation.
I want to comment on two of the things. Well, technically 3 things. One, no shit, you like the new record then.
Yeah.
Because literally it was the same. Like I was having such PTSD with like her seizures. I mean, there were bad things that happened where like there were moments where I had to like there was one that she had a seizure in the morning out of nowhere, and we were like literally showering to save time, and she started to have a seizure, and I had to pick her out of the shower and put her on the bed. Like, so now anytime after that, when I was in the shower, when she was in the shower, like there were months where I sat outside of the bathroom while she showered.
Yeah.
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 And I was literally sitting there being like, okay, I hope nothing happens. I'm right here in case it does.
Yeah, that could be bad.
Or they always happened in between like 8:30 at night and 9:30 at night. So every single night for months. And like she had, she has them in clusters, so they don't stop until we go to the hospital. So as soon as she has one, you're in for a long night. She's going to be there overnight. She's about to be out of it for a week or two.
Yeah.
So then I'm at home and having these PTSD events where I'm like, oh my God, it might happen now. And honestly, my rational mind's going, it could happen. So like, this is something to worry about. And so I totally get that. That's what this whole record is. It's that feeling of, so I understand that. And secondly, I'm reading a book actually that's about rewiring your brain that way. And they kind of talk about your brain as if it's a computer and it's an algorithm and you need to put in new input. So if you can talk positively to yourself, even if you don't fucking believe it at first, like do it consistently every day at the same time, keep doing it. And then you'll finally start to notice like, oh, I feel better during this time of the day now. So now I got to take more time, in the morning and at 2 p.m. Okay. Now, and the next thing you know, you're talking good. It's
funny. Like when I sit there and tell myself that I'm good enough, I like myself a lot better. That's just
shocker, right?
Yeah. It's funny. It's a funny concept, but it's also so very simple that and sometimes I think it's the simple things that we just go, and we sail right past it because it sounds too easy that it couldn't work.
Like that can't just be it.
Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, I'm just trying to convince myself of that. So this must be bullshit. So half of my brain is saying that. My other half is like, But yeah, there was a period where it was just nothing but anxiety all day, every day. Couldn't eat. Was like, I can't work on music. Like it was a point where I was like, music is pointless. Why am I even doing this? Like, this is somebody who like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if like you get that mortality check where you're like, okay, what's actually important here? And that's why the social media stuff's been difficult for me too. I don't want to go back on that, but that's where I was like, I need to make TikToks now, but like my partner's in the hospital and like, we don't know what the fuck is wrong. Are you kidding me? Like
that can inadvertently fuel some anxieties further. It's like,
your whole perspective gets shaken by moments that really come out of nowhere, and then you think your field of vision or your perception of what reality is, it's this big. Shit happens to you and that all of a sudden it's quadruple the size and the rules are all different, so making it through, just to piggyback off of what you guys are all saying, like just to make it through tough moments and moments that challenge you, it's like imperative that you form a positive inner dialogue. And again, in the present, in your 5-foot radius, is everything okay? Then yes, it's okay, because things happen all the time everywhere and we have access to that, and that's really mentally straining. So for me, at the height of my illnesses and things that were going on in the country that were really upsetting, like to me, I was like, yes, this is happening. I understand that. But, right now in my 5-foot radius, everything's okay. And I'm going to continue to check in and move throughout my life like that. And
acceptance is difficult too. Like, especially when it's something that you don't really like, oh, I'm going to die. Oh, everyone I know is going to die. Okay. I guess that's cool. Let's just do
it. Yeah. Like it's just weird.
Yeah. And the older you get, I think the more you really think about that and check in with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially acceptance of our vulnerabilities is
very much so.
A bitch to try and resolve for ourselves in the moment.
Absolutely.
You know what, like you said, like mortality or insecurities or self-doubt, those are going to be common things throughout our life, and we just have to learn to manage them. Like, you don't want to hear that sometimes, and it can
well, the thing that I didn't understand, I don't know why I didn't understand this, but like throughout life, you actually get rid of some, but then new ones come, like where like, you get older, you might start balding. Oh shit. Now I'm insecure about that. Like,
yeah.
He was 12 when that happened. He's like the real life Charlie Brown.
It's all here though for you, man.
His 4th grade and 5th grade pictures look completely different.
Nice. Jason hasn't been carded since 1989.
That's a benefit at least.
He was 10.
Yeah. I have a couple grades coming in.
I
want to
run through these comments real quick that we have coming in for our audio listeners. Jackie says Ellie is always the star of the show. Crazy Mama 1963.
That's my mom. My real mom.
She's the best.
Aww.
Yeah, we had Jason's mom commenting on our YouTube videos earlier.
Mom kids and orders are the best.
Mom comments are the best.
You guys are amazing and incredible.
We love Jackie. She's a great artist. We just recorded here, actually.
Yeah, we
She's got an
produced her.
awesome
She's cool.
song coming out soon. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right, Jackie, hit me up. We'll get you on. I'd love to talk to you.
Yeah,
she's amazing to talk to, so you definitely should. Yeah.
Jesse K says the worst part of social media is getting caught up idealizing other people's lives. The use of self-affirmation daily is a wonderful thing to combat that. Thanks to April, I now know that I probably shouldn't post bikini photos, so I'm not going to post those.
Jason, please stop.
Maybe I'll get more followers. Who knows?
Yeah, you should.
All right, we saw that one, and then Jesse K says, "I take things and put them in the big picture, and not just look in the moment with the situation. Think of the next 5 minutes, 5 days, and 5 weeks, etc." Absolutely. And I want to thank you guys first off for being a part of my sister's fundraiser for her family. That was very, very nice of you guys. And I want to take
that was the thing I was trying to remember earlier. Yeah.
There it is.
April.
Full circle. All right.
April, I want you to take a moment and tell us about this.
What is that? Oh, that's somebody. So somebody like within the local Long Island like music scene that I know. His home was completely like ravaged by this fire, and I unfortunately see things like this happen all the time where people like donate whatever, and I try to always give a little piece, but I was heartbroken because he not only lost one of his roommates, but he had to find his cats. They were gone. They took, and I'm very in love with my pet, so I couldn't even imagine the heartbreak. I think of losing her when she's old, and it's upsetting to me, so I can't imagine losing loved ones and all of your things in one night, in one moment. And his roommate and all of these different situations with the animals and these comforts. So I don't really know him personally. I think we may have met once at a show or something, but I was just heartbroken, so I really wanted to share it and donate a little money. So if anybody's even $1 would just help, because that's just a horrible situation, and nobody deserves to go through that.
No, not at all. And yeah, anybody that's listening or watching, you can find the link on our 3 Geeks podcast page. I shared it as well.
Yeah.
It's nice to help each other if you can. If you got $1 goes a long way. If every 100 people donate $1, so.
Yeah, so that's just, it was like I just saw it like the other night, and I was kind of following the post that he was making, and I was like heartbroken by it. So I was like, I have to do so. I don't really know what else I can do, but money helps in those situations. Can't really do much else.
But it's like if you take time to feel empathy for somebody else, like, holy crap, like this thing's going on, and you do something, and it doesn't have to be a big thing.
No,
you just do something to help out, or to take it off of yourself. I feel like that helps a lot too. It's like, hey, if you give a guy a couple bucks, like they're begging on the street corner or whatever, like, if you take time to do something outside of yourself, that is extremely helpful. Like, you realize later on, like,
it's also putting good out there. Just put some good out there.
It's good,
right?
Like, to me, it'll come back. And I just feel like there's not enough of it out there. So I we talk about it a lot. Like, in my life, I hope to be insanely successful so I can like give it back, and just have the freedom to do things that are charitable, and
the freedom to give it back.
Freedom to, and the power to be able to give it back and distribute it in ways that's actually helpful and meaningful, because I see people like these football players, they have like these chains on, they're like $1 gazillion, they're worth more than our rent for the last 3 years. And I'm like, oh, that's really nice. Like, you deserve that. Like, you shouldn't like personally reap the benefits of your own successes. Like, that's not it at all. But part of me just thinks I do so much. We do so much with so little, as freelancers.
Yeah,
with
what
money.
can you do with so much?
So, I mean, I just, the possibilities of being able to give a lot and do a lot is really exciting and like motivating. So even just those little things, I hop right on, because I'm like, all right, I could be part of this and, help a little. So thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, we're even doing that with like other artists. Like me and April, like we're producing a lot of different artists, and we do it at a discount basically compared to what other studios charge. And me and April both help songwriting and producing. Like, Jackie is someone that we've done that with, and we do that with a band called Awakening Autumn.
They're awesome.
So like any other artist that we've been working with, it's basically like, hey, we charge X amount. Like, yes, you obviously need to get paid, but like I'm basically just trying to give back like skills that I've learned and help other people. You know, it might not be launching a career per se, but it's letting people record music if they want to.
And it's some of them, most of the people we've worked with, it's like their first time working with engineers and stuff and like producers. And a lot of the time it's like a really, for me at least, a lot of my earlier musical experiences, like going into bigger studios and things like that. Like I went in as like an 18, 19-year-old girl with this like short haircut, and everybody was like, what's your deal? Like nobody took me seriously. I think there was a lot of like gatekeeping. Yeah. Like, and we've been kind of like pushed out of the gates a lot, and also micromanaged by people, you know, that we were working with, and things like creatively micromanaged rather. So, you know, we just try to give people like the freedom to make stuff with, you know, with us. And we love making
a lot of people come to us that like have just had poor experiences with other producers and engineers, and they're like, you know, I go, this person just said, you know, you have to do it this way, or they just worked at a studio and they kind of just got it done, where like we're trying to like, hey, you want to do this, let us listen to you, and then we'll do what we can do, you know, to get your vision across. So even that, like I said, like it's a side hustle as well, but like we're totally, it feels more in the giving back realm.
Because like even it's not like we're just sitting and recording the music. Like I try to help as much as I can with the artists, like doing releases and recommending video people, recommending, you know, like distributors, things like that. So
I just we're trying to support other people. I don't know why everyone seems to be so non-supportive. Non-supportive. It's a very good word. Whereas, like, you know, I have a song out, and then that's it. Like no one's like, you know, not too many people that are artists really like share other artists
like
stuff
unless they're
resources. Like friends or share resources, or here's how I did this, here's the plugin I use. Like, dude, like why are we not all just trying to do this so that we can all be up there instead of like as soon as someone jumps up, like there's certain friends that I have that like, you know, they've jumped up socially, and then once they do that, they're like, okay, well, unfollow all these people now, and now I'm up here, and now it's like
you mean nothing. It's like
like if that happens to me, like the people who have been kind to me, they're staying with me. The people who haven't, I mean, I don't talk to you now anyway. It's not different.
It's very obvious, like when I post an accomplishment or something, a small accomplishment either on my page, and then you're like all of a sudden paying attention to me, like I see you. Like you're not really smooth. If you're gonna be a con artist, at least do it well. Like seriously, like
you didn't notice so easily, you know.
Yeah, like I could see you. Like I would be a lot more strategic with that.
Yeah,
like
it'd be like if you guys got like I don't know what podcasts get awards, but if you got like a nominee for like a Grammy, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, like you, I've been listening to you guys. No, you fucking haven't.
We've been doing this for 6 years, and now you just showed up. Like
I've worked with people my whole life. Like I confided in people that I worked with at my high school growing up, like. Oh, I was like, when I was 15, I was like, I'm going to be on Broadway. Like, I'm going to be a musician for like a living. And they're like, that's really hard. I'm like, okay. And
insert helpful line of dialogue here, please.
However many years later, I'm posting, you know, I have a Billboard song, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I always knew you could do it.
Of course.
Thanks for the assist, Pat.
The expletives that arise. I'm like, no. So, like, to me, it's like, if they're not supporting you when you're first starting, like it's not good to me. Like it's not something you should propose. Like you need to, you know, be supporting each other in an honest way, and like
on your team. You always say like team Jake, team April,
team you. You know, like we're always
absolutely
team April.
Also, like, I had to call somebody at the credit card company the other day, and you know, like I wasn't. Like it was a stupid mix-up. It was their fault, but you know, like you're not mean. Like he's like, "Hey, thank you very much," and then the person that I'm talking to is like, "You know what? Thank you for just being pleasant." And that's so strange.
It's so sad.
Like,
it's like, do you understand? Like, I mean, if you want to get into that, if you understand like, that it's not the person's fault that you're talking to. Oh, here's an example. This morning, we were in a rush to get on this podcast because we ordered groceries, 54 items. We went to pick them up, 16 items.
Oh.
So we then went into the see, like obviously, like we're a little bit angry about that. But April wants to go on to talk to customer service, but not flip out. Just literally ask.
I flipped out at home first, and then I was like, "This is not their fault. I'm sure there's like there obviously is something like really wrong here."
Right. We
know,
walk
like,
in, all the freezers aren't working.
Oh,
it was literally like we go into the grocery store and like a tumbleweed rolls by. We're like, this is horrible. Like, I just walked up to customer service to just be like, hey, and I've never done this. I don't even know what you say to these people at that shack. I don't know what they do. I was so I don't know. No, but so I was like, hi. I was like, I'm just curious. Like, is everything okay here? Like, is this normal? Like, I was showing her like because we've been doing it for a year and a half, 2 years, no problems.
Yeah,
no problem. So it's obviously something was up.
yeah.
But whatever. So it was like she's like, yeah, the freezers are all broken. I was like, well, that'll do it. That'll do it. Real nice.
That will cancel a couple items for sure.
I was like, this is so bad. Like I got like 3 cans of soup. Like
We didn't notice till we got home. It was like this seems light. We have like 3 avocados and a loaf of bread.
Because I usually do like a week and a half, 2 weeks of groceries for like meal prep and stuff. I'm like, it feels light. But anyway, getting back to what you were saying,
Avocado on toast. You're good.
Yeah, soup sandwiches.
We love avocados.
Yeah, we're good for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah. Avocados need to get ripe first, whatever. But no, like going back to what you're saying, like kindness really goes a long way. Like even just like, you know, writing thank you on the check if you had a good waitress or a waiter. Or, like
I feel bad for the people though, like who like he said, like there's people that get mistreated so often that when you're nice to them, they're like, you know, you made my day. It's like, really, like that's the society we're living in at this point. Like,
it should
unfortunately,
not be
yes.
So yeah, be freaking nice. Be freaking nice. And usually people, honestly, even around here, like we're in Central PA, like basically everybody just looks miserable all the time.
Brand here.
So like when April is just, and April's very smiley and happy and extroverted. I'm more introverted and I look more intimidating, you know. So when April's like, "Oh hi," and then like smiles, literally sometimes people jump. They're like,
"What?
It's a trap."
Crazy person over here. Oh god.
Yeah, I'm an Italian lady from New York. I'm even weird there, but like you know, it's like here.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. But
even here, I held a door open for somebody the other day, and which is something I typically do. I will hold the door open.
Yeah.
That's the way my mama raised me. My mother is from the South. I still say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir to people that I talk to.
Yeah.
I hold doors open, and the woman that I held the door open for looked at me like, you know, I had like a, you know, a third nipple growing out of my forehead.
Well,
she was like,
obviously,
which is why I'm wearing the hat now. But
you should get a bikini for it and post it on social media.
Oh, Jay and I could take some couples pics with it. It'll be great.
Here we go.
There's a mental image for you.
Jason, go over to Tim's and you guys got to pose together.
Well, Tim already asked me to
therapist is
remake.
Thanking you for that mental image.
Hey, the other day I told him he needs to remake the Miley Cyrus video of Wrecking Ball, and he doesn't need to buy anything. He's just, you know, he's got that suit already. But you know, I was holding the door open. She just looked at me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I said, well, "I'm holding the door open. It's what I do." And she was like, "People." She says, "People don't hold doors open for people." I'm like, "Well, they should."
Well, you're like, I'm just a person. People, maybe that would be weird.
At that point, I'm going to shut the door.
Where are you?
Yeah, really. It's like, okay, forget it. Fine.
I'm in Michigan, and I'm just like, I was like, well, I do, and I'll enter the building after you do, so you know, we'll be fine.
Nope, you're just trying to get behind me for some shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just looking for the camera, you know, when you're a tripper.
Yeah, right.
Tim, I hold the doors open all the time. I stand right in the sensor when the automatic doors open, so people can just walk through and not.
I just run up to him like in Star Wars and be like, "Ha!"
Yeah, right.
All right, before we let you guys go, I have to ask a question because this is a geeky podcast typically.
Sure.
Besides music, what is one thing you each geek out about?
Geek out?
Yeah.
Besides music?
Yeah,
not
guys.
music.
I know music would be your answer, so I'm taking music off the table.
I'll give you 2. Plants.
Oh yeah, plants. Yeah, we love plants.
We had a plant day yesterday
got
as well. We got
of
so many plants. We repotted plants. And I love woodworking. Like I'm a construction carpenter guy. I roof since I was 13 years old. I'm a blue collar raised human
Awesome.
being. And I love like I'll walk into people's houses and just look at their molding. Like,
Why does he look so hot on the collar? Oh, he's looking at the crown molding again.
Yeah, right. You okay?
You got a gap down there. You got
No, I'll look at it. Yeah.
I do.
That's good.
We'll be driving around. Yeah, I'll be like, "Oh, do you see that roof? Needs a new roof."
Yeah, 30-year shingles. 30-year roof shingles.
What do you geek out about?
I don't know. I mean, I really like buying books. Reading them is a whole other thing. But no, I read most of them. Right.
I feel you
love
on that
books. I love art, painting. I really think as far as geeking out, like I love plants and small figurines. I got a little garden gnome figurine yesterday. I literally couldn't go to the store without it. It was so cute. But
She geeks out at the color orange.
I love orange. I love clothes too.
Yeah.
But
Orange clothes. With
Nice.
orange clothes. I have a lot of orange clothes too. Like, yeah,
No,
really
she geeks out at sauce.
Oh, I like to cook. That's I'm
Alright.
over obsessive about cooking, and like he's like, oh, let me help, and I'll just be like, just do a shake of garlic, and then like the minute it's like a half a shake over, I'm like, stop it! You're gonna ruin it.
What are you doing?
It's too much garlic, you fool.
Yeah, don't have my sauce. Yeah,
I love it.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time, and
thank you.
look forward to having you guys on again because this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Anytime, you guys are great.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Nice to see you again,
Thank you.
April. Kulick, nice to meet you.
Me too,
Yes,
Kim.
thank you to
Yeah,
all of you. Make sure you listen to our music and
all that fun
shit.
stuff.
Where can everybody find you online?
I am at Kulick Official, Kulick Official for everything. My website, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. That's it.
Everywhere.
Kulick's
Yeah.
bikini photos coming tonight to Instagram.
I was really trying to say that you can find me at like jasonsbikinis.com, and I couldn't come up with a joke fast enough. That's why I paused. I literally was trying to come up with a joke.
I knew something was weird. I was like,
Oh.
so quick.
No.
I'm
I was
gonna
like,
go
I'll
look
just-
at jasonsbikinis.com and see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
So on that note, you can find me at timsforeheadnippleBikini.com. But
You know what scares me? That might actually be a website out there.
Yeah,
That could be.
we are not held liable for anything that we think is fake.
Just make sure your children are out of the room before you go to these websites.
Yeah.
All we're saying.
That website, if you scroll down on the very bottom in quotes, their company motto is "We'll leave the door open for you."
All right. Officially, there's no timsforeheadnipple.com.
Thanks for looking.
Tell them where to find you while he's just searching for that.
Well, honestly, all those fake websites are probably shorter than all of my handles because it's my big ass Italian name. So it's just you see it on the screen there. It's April Rose Gabrielli. It's on all socials at April Rose Gabrielli. Twitter actually does not support the length of my name, so it's April Rose Gabri. It ends at the E. And that's pretty much it. AprilRoseGabrielli.com as well. So yeah, that's me.
That's where we're at.
If you find him, you'll find me. If you find me, you'll find him. So
There is
Perfect.
no JasonBikini.com, but there is a Jason Bikini on Etsy where you can go buy bikinis and Friday the 13th stuff. Weird combination of sailing stuff, but whatever.
I would like to say thank you
Whatever.
to each of you guys for sacrificing your Google searches for the for
Yeah,
the podcast. And I am curious to see what pops up later in your news feeds.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your Instagram ads. It's gonna be like, "Do you have a third nipple?"
His Facebook ads later are gonna be like, oh, never mind.
we're like a law firm that specializes in third nipple practice.
If I get any ads for like a forehead nipple support group, I'm gonna go check it out. Like that's good. That's something that needs looked at.
Well, let's hope that you do.
Thanks, guys. I'll be in touch because when your album comes out, let's get you back on.
Yeah.
And you
we'll
guys,
learn every
again,
time.
you guys are an inspiring couple.
You guys
I
are awesome.
love watching your Instagram posts because, again, you genuinely like to be with each other. And you can even tell that during this interview. So thank you so much for taking the time. We'd
Thank
only
you.
planned on talking for a half an hour, but the conversation was so good that we just rolled through it.
that's
That was super fun. It's a
We
good
can't
way-
shut up.
Yeah, we talk a lot. It's kind of our fault.
We can't talk. That's why we got a podcast because we don't
Right?
talk here.
Might as well
We don't
record
talk
it.
enough. Let's do it on the internet.
Yeah,
That's
right.
why I have 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You guys have a
Bye.
great day
You
too.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, everybody. We're going to go just a few minutes over, and I'm going to let everybody geek out over Boba Fett, even though I also watched it, and I can geek out with it as well. Max is frozen. Oh, no, he's not frozen. He's just
I'm not frozen.
He's not frozen.
I want to, again, shout out to our guests, April and Kulick. I love you guys. You guys were fantastic last year.
They were
You guys
awesome.
are fantastic this year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great
Super
people.
cool.
And
Super cool musicians.
again, genuinely seem to really like you.
We're gonna have to get Kulick on Pop Culture Addicts and talk with him as well. We really loved having April on the show. She was amazing, but I'm gonna have to get Kulick on there too.
Yeah, shout out to Eileen Shapiro and Jimmy Starr for hooking us up with them.
You're gonna link the music video and the visualizer in the description.
Sure.
Because those are excellent. Like I listened to them before the cast. Like excellent tunes.
So, Book of Boba Fett. I'm going to go first, okay? I'm going to throw out this little spoiler alert right here. I have not seen Clone Wars. I have not seen Rebels. I have not seen Bad Batch. But in episode 6, I think it's when we were introduced to Cad Bane, I'm like, this character looks cool. Like, I have no frame of reference. Like, I can't wait to see what happens with this character. And then in the next episode, the character is no longer with
Max, you knocked that off.
Thanks.
What? What? Was I doing something?
Oh,
I see about your forehead nipple.
I do want to say kudos to episode 6, which was the true representation of Boba Fett that we all grew up with, which was him standing in a corner. Very good job. That really took us back to the trilogy. Fantastic. I don't get it, Max, because I'm in your camp too. Like I like the show, by the way. I enjoyed it. I like the back half better than the front half, but I did enjoy it. But I don't get Boba Fett's like. I got in an argument in our podcast chat with one of the people that helps us out sometimes, and she was saying how badass Boba Fett was, and there's an ant crawling through my kitchen right now that is more of a badass than Boba Fett was in the original trilogy. Like he literally just stood, kidnapped Han, gave him away, and then was thrown into a Sarlacc pit. I mean, he was awesome in the holiday special. Like he had a cool cartoon, but
well, I mean.
That's all we got, and that was only awesome.
How could that not be awesome with the rest of the holiday special?
Because we got the rest of the holiday special.
B. Arthur's awesome.
Yes, that's the best part. But no. See, him being badass comes from one line from Darth Vader when he's got all of the bounty hunters. And Vader goes no disintegration.
As you wish.
Yeah. That is badass. Then with you flush him out and he's grandpa beating up people in his pajamas. He is markedly less cool.
Dad bod, thank you very much.
I mean that's fine.
Might be on the defensive, but okay.
I resemble that remark and that.
Oh, so do I. But still, I mean that doesn't make you or I or Boba Fett badass.
So here's one of my arguments about this whole thing is that so I also enjoyed the show very much.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the fact that they gave him some backstory about, what happened after he came out of the Sarlacc pit and the fact that we got to see him emerge from the Sarlacc pit. I liked, the whole thing with the Tusken Raiders and seeing the Sand People as more than just people who stood up on a hill and shook their fists at things.
They're animals. Let's slaughter them like animals.
Exactly. That's, But one of the things that I liked about the show, that was one of the things I liked about the show rather, but one of the things that troubled me with the show is everybody's approach, again, that Boba Fett was a badass. And the reason why they have that approach or that feeling is because in Legends books, there are stories written about him and in those books, he is a badass. And other things, but nothing on film. There has been nothing on film where Boba has ever done anything that was substantial. He's done it in some video games where you got to assume his character and do a few things and whatever, but nothing really substantial where you could look at it and go, yeah, this is why Boba needs to be Boba and he's all these different things. That never existed. And so what happened is you have a lot of people who wanted this show when they saw it come up, they went, oh God, finally we're going to see Boba Fett on screen. And they had 30 years of that, those 30 years of expectations, exactly, filling their brain that this is what it's going to be. And so when it didn't hit that level of expectation that they had built for themselves, the show sucked.
But I mean, that's Star Wars in a nutshell.
Well, there's nobody hates Star Wars like a Star Wars fan.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
true.
like space wizard in a spaceship movie wasn't philosophical enough for me. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I sorry, you say that one time?
No. You're good. Go for it.
Okay. I'm not a Boba Fett fan. I am 100% in the camp of Boba. Like the only thing that Boba Fett is good at is tracking Han Solo. Like they showed us that he can track Han Solo better than anyone else in the galaxy. Okay, I will give you that credit. But like every other thing he does is mediocre at best. But they made this show. I'm like, okay, here we go. You know, they brought him back in The Mandalorian. I wasn't mad at it. You know, and you know, like they show him in his Tatooine fucking garb and he's beating up stormtroopers. I'm down. Whatever.
Yeah.
What I don't like about this show is like I feel like they didn't want to give up the bag. Like Disney didn't want to spend the money on making the show good, and therefore it wasn't.
I mean,
like there's like the scene with the fence, the fucking Wakandian laser fence.
They got the shields and stuff, right?
Yeah, that was ridiculously stupid. A lot of the fight scenes were super choppy, super like they're poorly choreographed and they were poorly executed. And then like this at the end with the scene where like the giant mech is rolling through the town and the whole town of people should have showed up. Like you're Disney, get 100 extras.
Here's where the production side of my brain has to come into play. It's like this was filmed during the pandemic. You have to kind of there's always going to be speculation of like what could have been if there weren't restrictions, if the production schedule hadn't interceded with this particular.
Okay. So if you can CG Luke Skywalker's face, then you can CG 90 more people in there.
Hologram Tupac is in the back. Like,
yeah, I mean, no. Like, I'm sorry, you're Disney. You have no excuse.
I would have actually
spend the money.
Hologram Tupac would have been awesome, but yeah. But I get what you're saying, Max, completely. And one of the things that bugged me was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers biker gang. You know,
the biker gang. The lamest biker gang of all time. Now, when you say to me
the slowest
cyborg biker gang, I'm down.
Yeah, this sounds cool.
I had a problem with the fact that they lived on Tatooine and they looked like they waxed those speeder bikes every 3 seconds. There wasn't a speck of dust anywhere on those. And that was the slowest chase scene I have ever seen since in Taken. My life.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Taken was faster. This whole thing, they're chasing that guy in the the land speeder, and it's like, meet.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And I'm sorry, but those bikes are not cool. Like you're supposed to be this biker gang, and your bikes aren't cool. Like I don't. You're a Vespa biker gang.
77 land speeder didn't set any records either, so it's just kind of like I can kind of buy that. Like, okay, chases are going to be slower on Tatooine where shit.
But. Okay, but Luke's speeder in 77 was faster than this one here.
Yes, yeah.
It's the same thing, and it looks
maybe
it's the same
speeder.
It could have been. He did sell it for a discount.
No, those bikes suck.
But even the biker gang, I realize I understand what they were trying to accomplish. It was a gentle nod to the 1960s biker gangs and scooter gangs in England that had all the mirrors and everything. And the more mirrors you had, the cooler you were, and all that. I get that. You just still didn't care.
No, you guys. This is the way you went with. You could have gone like Japanese Bosuzoku, freaking crazy ass bikers with like exhaust pipes going here and there and then all this stuff.
Yeah.
But like this is what you chose. This I don't understand. Like that's where I'm just 100% lost. The show does get better when it becomes The Mandalorian again.
Season 3, in episodes 5 and 6. Yeah.
But then I'm just like, why would you tell this story of Boba Fett when you could be telling the story of the Mandalorian getting kicked out of the Mandalorian creed and having a new quest to go and like an impossible quest to go and regain his honor, and you tell us this shit story about Boba Fett, and I'm like, you could have told both stories except Have the Mandalorian, have the training sequences of Grogu. Have the Mandalorian going through all this shit, and then it's like, oh, Boba Fett's making moves, and when he gets kicked out of the Order, that's where he goes to because he doesn't have anywhere else to be. Like,
well, I think one of the problems that the show suffers with, even though I do enjoy it because, well, it's Star Wars, and anyway, but I have a weakness there. But one of the things that the show suffers from is an overtelling of information. So there are things that are shown in the show that are really cool and they're nice side points, but they didn't need to be shown to the depths of which they did. The whole, Boba's gonna, get this biker gang on his side by, paying off their water debt at a discount or whatever. That, that was all unnecessary.
Stephen Root was there.
Yeah. Well, I kept waiting for some comment about, they took my water or something like that, and I don't know.
Yeah, I drink your milkshake.
Book of Boba Fett convinced me even more that Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, it's not either of their stories, or it's not the stories we think we're getting. This is all Grogu's story, is my opinion, and that is the story that we are telling throughout all these series. I think, Tim, your friend is right. I think Grogu is going to be the Mandalorian that the title of the show is named for. And this show convinced me of that more. That this is all about Grogu's story.
Yeah, I think
I'm sorry. I would be 100% happy if Grogu chose Team Jedi and the Mandalorian still had to go about doing all these things. I could be done with Grogu now, and I would be totally fine with that. I feel like the Mandalorian is the Boba Fett that we all wanted.
That should have been.
And they took. I think they took all the main points from Boba Fett, stuck it on this dude, and then gave him a half decent story. And now you can't make Boba Fett better than this guy. Like there's nothing you can do.
Right. It's a classic 1 and 2 situation. You made this guy the number 1. Now you can't have this other guy supersede him. So he's got to take a back seat, and he's not going to be all the things that everybody wants him to be. And I think, to go to Jason's point, I think that we are going to be doing something, similar along those lines where, all these are to set up this Book of Boba Fett. I think it's only going to be 1 season. I don't think there can be another season of it. I think it's a separate chapter, a one-off, and it takes you into the setting up for the Mandalorian and Ahsoka, and, they're setting up for those things. And so how these things all intersect and how, it all relates to Grogu. And at some point they have to stop trying to make Grogu the cute one and start making the story about him and give him some speaking lines where he's not just like, cooing like a little baby and then falling asleep next to a Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be something more than that,
But the merchandising.
That was cute when he fell asleep by the Rancor. It was absolutely adorable.
It was, but but
it's and again, like I'm down for Boba Fett rides the Rancor. Like that was good.
That was cool.
But then it's like you're supposed to be tearing up this whole city. It's the same thing as Man of Steel. Like I have trouble connecting when there's supposed to be so much wanton destruction, and you're not showing me. It's like Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dan. I know you've been waiting to speak.
The problem with this, I think that the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, it's like Disney's having a DC brain fart at this point. Like they're giving you all this structure on the bottom, so that the higher story of the Mandalorian can come back to Boba Fett, but they don't want to put money into Boba Fett. So what you get, and you're completely right. Like the action scenes from the beginning, and they did get better through the show, but they're really clunky. And it's not like that whole shield thing was terrible.
Oh my god, so bad.
You're watching like an action film from the 70s, or like American Ninja. That's how bad it is. Which I had the pleasure of watching a couple nights ago.
American Ninja,
great.
But not because it's great. But I'm going to pass the hosting reins off to Max because I got to go pick up Tony. So I will talk to you all soon.
All right.
But
or Jason, before you leave, real quick. Jason, no, he's gone.
No, he's gone.
Nope, he's gone.
Well, there's that.
And done.
All right.
Then they didn't want to give you enough story.
Yeah.
So they're focusing like Tim's saying on the banal shit that you shouldn't need to watch.
Yeah, no,
but then you like I go online and like everybody's like eviscerating it, and I can't help but feel bad for it. Because they're just like every episode came out, and I've got like 3 articles on my feed. Like it's like Tamura Morrison is like I don't want to be Boba Fett anymore, and why he sucks. And it's like, geez, that's a little harsh, man. But like it had glimmers of a good show, and it just didn't get there.
No,
until like the very end, and they only got there from bringing like other characters in, which
no, when it becomes the Mandalorian again, like it is sweet. But it's weird though, because the fight scenes with the Mandalorian, like the first scene where he's cutting up all those dudes and he fucks himself up with the Darksaber, that was sick. That's the first time you ever see anyone injure themselves wielding a lightsaber.
Yeah,
it was really cool. Yeah. Because that was totally the thing I did 5 minutes after having
a
like, oh god,
absolutely, 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Like
hi, I'm Tim.
It's like handing a teenager some nunchucks or something, you know? It's
exactly.
He's got
shot immediately.
Try not to hit yourself in the balls with this. Just go ahead and try. It's not going to happen.
And he chopped your foot off. Good job.
Right, yeah, but like, I thought that was really cool, and that was a very interesting thing, and it was a half a second thing.
Yeah.
You know? And then like watching the Mandalorian, now fucked up, try to go through his regular day and all the shit that he needs to go through was very interesting. Like I don't know how come Boba Fett doesn't catch me like that, but it's
the Mandalorian is like chocked full of stuff though. And it's a Western. I mean, in all but name. I mean, damn. But
it's a spaghetti Western. There's no two ways about it.
Oh yeah. When it is empty though, it relies on the scenery because it's a Western and it's nice and open. You know, Boba Fett doesn't give you enough, and you're mostly in a city, unless you're in this camp with city. Unless you're in a camp with the Sand People, and again you get like flashbacks to the holiday special there because there's not a whole lot of dialogue going on. So
I feel that's a lot of what's been lost with the Disney acquisition is this beholdenness to the film canon and nostalgia.
Yeah.
You don't see everything comes back to Tatooine. Everything comes back to Rebel Alliance, to the Empire. Like the expanded universe, I think this is what the problem is too, is that we had 30 years of people's imaginations just going wild with this universe and wild with the stories you could tell with these characters, that all of a sudden now for the company to kind of just say, well, we're stringently holding it to what's happened in the films. That's canon. And anything we produce from this point on is canon. That I want to see some Tales of the Jedi type stuff. I want to see Kulick Keldroma type adventures on Onderon or all these different planets that had all these different kind of structures and things. I was like, there's such a bigger universe out here, but it's all relegated now to this stable of characters that the general audience will know because we know the movies. And that's the stifling part for me. You can tell interesting stories. Like you said, The Mandalorian is a solid example of working within that structure and being able to tell an engaging story still. But it's still beholden to, hey, here's a character who's kind of like Yoda and will probably down the line tie into Yoda. Here's Skywalker again. Hey, Mandalorian, it's kind of, like you said, kind of like Boba Fett to the point that he probably should have been Boba Fett.
But shiny.
Shiny. And so it's this idea of, I don't know, a lot of the possibility of this universe has suddenly become very narrow with the more recent products. Everything has to tie into Skywalker saga specific things.
Oh yeah, no,
I've been
ready.
a long.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have been a long supporter of the best Star Wars stories are away from the Skywalker saga.
Yeah,
so
totally.
That's amazing. That's one of the reasons why, to me, Rogue One is so amazing. Even though it has a tie to the Skywalker saga, there's no Jedis in it. There's no, it's just a really good story, really well told. And there's one Sith Lord in it. You see Vader for a couple minutes, being the best version of Vader that I think I've ever seen, and made me giggle out loud in the theater like a little
Oh my
schoolgirl.
God,
Oh
I
God, it was
clapped.
awesome. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He was Vader being Vader. That's what
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see on screen from him.
Yes,
And
like
so-
why is everyone afraid of this dude?
Like the best Vader moment to me is at the beginning of shit, the first game, the Force something or other.
Oh, Force Unleashed.
Yeah. Like when
where
you kill
gets
all of
Vader?
when you kill all the Wookiees.
Yes,
That's amazing. Like,
When he goes ham on his own stormtroopers. I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
that's Vader.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
idiots.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I get it. Yeah.
It's-
It's one of those things that they're going to have to get a handle on going into Ahsoka and going into, going into Mando season 3. If we're going to see, what we're going to see on Obi-Wan, I'm really excited about that, but I'm also very nervous about that. There's a lot of things coming up in the Star Wars universe where that could be honestly so ridiculously very cool. And there's also some things that about those things that make me as a Star Wars fan also very nervous, because I don't want to see just the same thing hashed and rehashed again. And I just want to make this subtle plea. I'm going to put this out into the universe. If we're going to bring back a really cool character like Cad Bane, can we not kill him off in 2 freaking episodes, please? Because there's so much story there, and he's the best.
One would
best
argue that
bounty
Cad
hunter
Bane
out
is not a cool character.
Well, that one person probably shouldn't argue that.
Cad Bane sucks. Cad Bane sucks. I'm glad he's dead. At least there's that. At least Boba Fett gave me that. Fucking Cad Bane is dead, and now we don't have to worry about it
Red
anymore.
light is ticking on and off at the end of it, so
I don't think he's dead.
He's
I don't think he's dead. I think we're
If
going to see
he's
him.
not dead, if he's not dead, then I'm upset.
Because we never see it. We never see it.
Well, you're already upset, so it's okay.
Cad Bane sucks. Like
we nenever see his droid. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's leaving out any characters from fucking Filoni's.
Now I want to see Hondo.
What's that fucking cartoon called?
Rebels or Clone Wars?
Clone
Bad
Wars.
Batch.
Leaving out any characters introduced in Clone Wars will just be better for everyone. But
I like to see Captain
Boba
Ryan.
Fett. I read the books. Okay, there's a whole series of books after where Boba Fett escapes the Sarlacc pit and goes on to do sweet shit. They did none of that shit in this show.
Yeah, of course not.
And
No.
And I'm just like, well, guys, what?
So the problem is they tried starting off with fan service, and then they went from the fan service, and then they tried to build story, and then they
they
did.
edge. There wasn't much of a story.
No, what I'm trying to say is they tried to build story, but they made the mistake of building too much story.
Yeah.
And so then they lost it because they tried giving all these extra details that we really didn't need to have. So
I was
think
like,
they gave
wow.
all the.
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, I think they gave all the extra details because they didn't have a story.
I didn't feel like there was too much story. I just felt like they went on a bad. They took a bad line. And we're stuck here.
Somebody wrote like a 1-paragraph treatment, and they're just like, screw it, let's run with it. And this is what you got. They're like, oh yeah, pretty bikers. We'll bring the weird scooter things in that your grandma would drive. And then
Again, I have to bring this up. Part of me wonders if a lot of the creative decisions in terms of the storytelling or in terms of the scale of things had to be wrangled down because of production during pandemic. Like part of me.
And then I didn't think about that before, Mike, and you're absolutely right.
He's absolutely right. Yeah.
That's always going to be a curiosity for me for a lot of these shows, not just like the Disney Plus stuff, but a lot of the shows that I know were created during pandemic times. Is like what could have been if their standards, if they were able to have a little bit more open space, so to speak. And
I get it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, I gotta give them some credit on that point. Where it's like, if you're gonna make a city like Mos Espa, while it's not as big a spaceport as Mos Eisley, it is still a spaceport. So this means there's intergalactic travel coming out of this place.
I do agree with you, Max, that it's Disney. They can afford to throw in some rubbery CGI people here and there.
And they
it'd be terrible looking, but yeah.
They could have hired decent fight choreographers and stuntmen for that too. So.
And hey, no offense to dude what's that guy's dude plays Boba Fett?
Tamora Morrison, I think.
No offense to that dude, but he's 70 years old now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, and it's the same argument I have with every other fucking 80-year-old dude that they hire. Stop hiring these old dudes if you want them to do fight scenes. Stop hiring them.
He
Like,
could have been all jacked
scenes.
up because of stuff too. So he could have healed different.
What'd you say, Mike?
61 years old. Let's give him
61.
Close enough.
I'll give him 9. Handicap.
I mean, I'm impressed that he's able to swing around and that stick and stuff and be out in the sun with his big bald head so long. But
I'm just like, if you watch like Jackie Chan from back in the day,
yeah,
that dude did not make money. Okay, like you watch the stunts that he pulled off for literally no money, and you're like, why is it you can't hire people to do this?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, you're talking like when he was like Bruce Lee's stuntman kind of thing. Okay,
but it's just like you are Disney. You're Disney.
Yeah.
You are the giant corporation. Like you are.
Yeah.
Like the they, the them. That is you. Like you sit here telling me you can't afford this.
This ties in, I feel, to the times as they were. It's like maybe you wanted to get like a Yu Won-ping or some great fight coordinator, but traveling restrictions, things like that. People schedules don't have.
Look.
Who knows? I'm just throwing it out there. It's like
there's no travel restriction that money can't solve. Okay, like I refuse to
that's very true.
That is true.
Yeah, you got me there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
and also,
but like you could put you could be the next level in all of this, and they just choose not to because they don't want to spend the money on it, and it makes it more of an actual risk than. But I'm like they're banking on the Star Wars name, making it wash through. Like everyone's gonna love it because it says Star Wars on it. But okay, everyone's gonna love it because it says Star Wars on it. Why don't you make something sweet?
Yeah,
it's just.
Also, I didn't realize that dude was 61. I mean, you could have almost hired the original Boba Fett.
He's dead, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like his brother could have hired Yin Wu Ping to be in there.
I mean, like it's just like they.
Max, to go back to what you're saying, it's like, why don't they just give us this with regards to in terms of quality and stuff? I think you figured out the Disney model is it strings you along. This is kind of what the company does.
Yeah.
Is it give you just a little bit of what you think you want, but then they'll be like, but stick around because we'll have another series or we'll have another movie that expands on this. And then, like, that's the Marvel formula, too. That's how they strung you along into the Infinity War was...
This is the Aladdin and the King of Thieves movie, from like way back in the day.
I mean, but that's what gets me though, is because there's something they used to make Aladdin, they used to make Lion King, they used to make these things that were like, okay, we're pushing the limits of animation, we're pushing we're doing things in these ways because we have the budget to.
Yeah. But you're leaving out all of the direct-to-video ones.
Oh, yeah, no, there's also the direct-to-video stuff. And
we leave those out on purpose.
Oh, yeah,
that has its place, and that's fine. But because they didn't release the second Aladdin movie in theaters, that went direct-to-video, and you could tell the quality went down. So it's like I understand that when I have my freaking B-side fucking Disney bullshit, like what I'm getting. But this is supposed to be your A game. Yeah, this is supposed to be your A game.
They don't want to give you that all away all at once. Otherwise, why else would you come back to it if they give you the A game?
No, but geez, he said he was gone.
Yeah, he's back now. Oh, but he's got his photo shoot today. That's
he's getting his bikini on.
Oh God!
Oh God! Please stop.
Tim, get ready.
Oh jeez. But this goes back to what we were saying earlier. So Mando is now 1, Boba Fett is now 2. They're not going to give you the same quality that you're getting on Mando that you're going to be getting on, on Boba that you're going to get on Mando. There's going to be a separation of those two because this is only here for the one season. Mando is something they're going to want to keep in
Sure.
In continuation.
Perpetuity.
Thank you. I could not figure out how to say that freaking word. Anyway, but this is something they're going to want to keep running for a few seasons. So they're going to put more into Mando than they are. And there's a reason why the Mando episodes were better, because they need those episodes to stand out so that they're a launch pad going into season 3.
Okay, but now I don't want to see anything. I legitimately do not want to watch any more Boba Fett stuff. Whereas you could have made Boba Fett stuff,
but I will.
And then like, hey, if your plan is to leave it alone, like okay, we're going to Mando. We're just having Boba Fett in here to tell the good Boba Fett story. Now I want more Boba Fett. So later on down the road, when you make another Boba Fett thing, I'm like, oh,
when he's 90.
Well, they're gonna redeem him in season 3. I fully feel that's what's gonna happen. I'm sorry, Mike.
They did here with Boba Fett, where he'll show up again in Mandalorian.
But I don't want him to. I don't want to see any more Boba Fett.
Like, but they don't care if you want to, because they know you'll still watch it regardless.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean,
and then you'll write like 30 articles on BuzzFeed about it.
Got me there too. But like since I've already paid, like I'm going to fucking complain about my fucking product. Like if I go to a restaurant and the meal is subpar, I'm gonna tell you. Like,
right? No, I get it. I get it, but I honestly think that they're going to try and fix it in season 3 of Mando, and I think that they knew that going into this little departure, that this was just a sub departure, quick 6-7 episodes. They were going to throw some story at us, give the fans what they wanted to see of the fist coming through the sand, which is what I always wanted to see him escape the Sarlacc, and then and then they're going to bring him back into Mando. Him and Fennec are going to come, and they're going to support Mando and on his quest to get reunited with the Mandalorian.
That would have been a better show.
and yeah, I'm sad. I'm sad at them. I'm not even mad at them. I'm just sad at them for doing.
Gave Max the sad face.
Book of Boba Fett. Like anything in Boba Fett without Mandalorian is 2 out of 5 at best. And then, like when the Mandalorian shows up, it's like 3.5. But I was not happy with this series. I did not have fun.
I get it. I have my frustrations with it, but I was also there every Wednesday morning at 7:00 in the morning, waiting for my next episode.
But that wasn't me. And normally that would be me.
Yeah.
But like I was like, I don't need to watch.
I waited until Wednesday night, so
Saturday. It was Saturday or Sunday.
Oh man!
The next episode.
I had to watch it because I needed to see what else they were going to do to tie it into other things. For me, Star Wars is the overarching story of everything. It's not just the one show. It's not just the one episode. I love to see how this series ties into that series, and how this ties into that, and this movie ties into that. And I love the gentle nods and the tap backs of my memory to other things. And so for me, there are parts about the Boba Fett series that did that worked very well for me. But there are also parts. There are also
I've got a franchise for you. It's called Star Trek.
Not enough lightsabers in that one for me. But I get it. I'm working on that one though.
All right, guys, we are well over our normal time.
A little bit, a smidge, right? Just a smidgen.
Quick ratings from everybody, and then we'll get out of here. Dan, how do you feel?
In general,
I'm going to go a little higher. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good personally. I don't.
He's like, I'm freaking glorious. What do you want to know?
Yeah, what the hell, man? I'm going to go 3.5, except when Mandalorian is there, and then it's a solid 4.
Tim?
I would honestly give it a 3, a flat 3 across the board. Even though Mando comes in for a couple episodes, it's not supposed to be the Mando show, and it became the Mando show. It was supposed to be the Boba Fett show. So yeah, 3 out of 5, and I would like to see a redemption somewhere for him.
Mike, how you feeling?
It's 3 to 3.5 for me, like it has been for a lot of stuff post season 1 of The Mandalorian. Like I mentioned earlier, show me something that wildly departs from this stable of, characters in this set universe, and you'll get a more passionate response from me about it. But it's fine.
Understood.
Yeah, it's just fine. Absolutely.
I think this is the one time that I've agreed with everybody on the panel. So
yeah.
nice.
All right, guys.
That's what that feels like. Holy cow! All right, I wonder.
Yeah, what the hell,
just
man?
Take a moment, just feel it, let it happen, and enjoy it. And
Reflecting.
We'll move forward from here. But no, guys, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us after the freaking 3 Geeks After Dark Super Boba Fett episode.
Wow.
But no, we love you guys. Please like, comment, and share all those things. And we will catch you next time.
Recycle your joints.
Ha.
Nice.